Chapter 200. The problematic pill recipe. With Qin Ming's light cough, the deafening noise in the venue quickly subsided. The second round of the assessment, which will be the final round, is also the final stage of the alchemy conference. Qin Ming's deep and heavy voice echoed over the square for a long time. In this final match, you still need to refine a complete pill according to a pill recipe within a limited time. You will be given enough spirit herbs for 2 attempts, meaning you have only 2 chances. If you run out of spirit herbs, it means you have failed. Since the alchemists of the same level will be refining the same type of pill in this final competition, the final results will be based on 2 factors. One is the success rate and the other is the quality rate. Hearing the resonating voice, the competitors finally revealed a faint smile on their faces. With their talent and level, as long as they have a complete pill recipe, it won't be too much of a problem for them to refine a complete pill, let alone having 2 chances to do so. Upon hearing this, Lu Yun also gave a light smile, as this kind of final for him was not difficult at all. Especially after the previous finals, he already knew the specific strength of the others. It could be said that his current strength compared to others in the competition was like a dimensional strike. TSK, this kind of match is simply too simple for me. Muttering softly in his heart, Mu Changfeng turned his gaze to Lu Yun, who was not far away. Now that Lu Yun didn't leave the stage and entered the finals, he already knew that Lu Yun's alchemy speed far exceeded his own. However, the final match was about the success rate and quality rate, and alchemy's speed didn't matter. With a cold smile, he looked at Chu Yuanyao not far away, whose face still maintained a calm expression. Seeing this, Mu Changfeng couldn't help but furrow his brows. After a moment, he sneered and whispered, Anyway, the championship must belong to me, and that fire seed will only belong to me, Mu Changfeng." On the stage, Qin Ming looked at the young, energetic and ambitious genius alchemists with a touch of playfulness in his eyes. "All right, since everyone is familiar with the rules of the game, let's begin the finals of the alchemy conference." As Qin Ming's voice fell, the noisy venue instantly quieted down, and everyone in the audience held their breath, watching the competitors on the stage with great anticipation for their upcoming performance and operation. This scene was also the climax of every alchemy conference. On the stage, following Qin Ming's voice, all the contestants simultaneously looked at the scrolls on the stone platform and opened them at the fastest speed. Hearing the rustling sound around him, Lu Yun slightly smiled and beckoned for the scroll to land in his palm. Reviving purple pill? Lu Yun examined the pill recipe carefully, and found it to be completely detailed with all the necessary information and precautions needed during the refining process. The reviving purple pill, a 3rd-grade enhancement pill, can restore 7 to 8% of the true qi of martial artists in the true qi realm within a few breaths. According to the pill recipe, the reviving purple pill requires 9 spirit herbs, which seem to be more difficult than refining the rejuvenation pill during the preliminaries. But can the finals be so simple? Lu Yun did not start refining the pill right away, but re-examined the pill recipe and went through the details and the required spirit herbs for the reviving purple pill in his mind. Replenishing red fruit, cornus grass, sandalwood root, barbaric song flower, loose ganoderma. The spirit herbs appeared one by one in his mind, and he quickly analyzed their attributes and corresponding effects. Gradually, Lu Yun furrowed his brows, feeling that something was wrong, but he couldn't pinpoint it for the time being. Replenishing red fruit, loose ganoderma? Seeing these 2 spirit herbs with completely opposite effects, Lu Yun's eyes flashed, and a smile spread across his face. "So there's such a little trick." With a soft whisper, Lu Yun ignited the fire stones in the alchemy furnace, producing surging flames in an instant. As the refining flame burned, the temperature of the alchemy furnace gradually increased, and Lu Yun waved his hand, lifting the furnace lid to hover in midair. He threw 2 sandalwood roots into the alchemy furnace and controlled the flame's temperature according to the pill recipe, slowly refining them and purifying the essence needed for the pill. Although he had a detailed pill recipe in his mind, rich experience inheritance, and even 2 chances to refine the pill, Lu Yun did not dare to slack off. He held the principle of being more cautious as success came closer. After all, the conference champion's reward was a natural tinder, which was extremely important. If he were to miss it due to carelessness, it would be absolutely intolerable for Lu Yun. That's why, even with a high success rate, he must be extremely careful. There were many cautious people like him, including the confident Mu Changfeng and the pure and lovely Chu Yuanyao. At this moment, they were all controlling the heat with serious expressions, slowly refining and purifying the first spirit herb. Chapter 201. The problematic pill recipe _2 Any random loss of a spirit herb could possibly lead to the failure of pill refining. The sands in the huge hourglass flowed constantly, and the 4 corners of the alchemy conference had their respective projections playing over the audience. As each person was very serious and focused, the only sounds heard from the scenes were the crackling and sizzling of the flames refining the spirit herbs. With such an atmosphere, the many alchemists in the audience gradually fell silent, holding their breath and watching the competition closely. Time flowed quickly. When about 1/3 of the hourglass remained, some faster alchemists had completed refining and purifying most of the spirit herbs and had already begun the pill condensation process. This time, Lu Yun was not as swift as before. Each time he refined and purified, he was extremely careful and cautious, making sure to purify every drop of liquid to the limit. As time passed, he quickly completed the purification of the 8 spirit herbs, including replenishing red fruit, cornus grass, sandalwood root, and barbaric song flower. The 8 crystal-clear liquids quietly stood in the isolation cabin. At the same time, the jade mirror recorded the entire process of Lu Yun's purification and displayed it on the huge projected screen. Seeing that Lu Yun's purification process was so smooth, Chu Feng, who had been extremely nervous, finally let out a sigh of relief. He may have appeared nonchalant on the outside, but inside, he was extremely tense. The results of this alchemy conference affected the reputation of Spirit Martial Prefecture and the distribution of resources to the various branches of the Alliance in the coming years. However, Lu Yun's next move changed Chu Feng's expression. Many alchemists in the audience were also shocked and surprised. Lu Yun had only refined and purified 8 spirit herbs, and then he closed the lid of the furnace and prepared to condense the pill. President Qin Ming had said before that all 3rd-grade alchemists were refining the same pill. Although they did not know what the pill recipe was, based on the conditions of most alchemists who had completed the purification, there were a total of 9 spirit herbs. However, now, Lu Yun had only refined and purified 8 spirit herbs and was preparing for pill condensation. This operation left them baffled. "Old Chu, isn't it possible that the young man from your Spirit Martial Prefecture is using a different pill recipe compared to the others?" Qian Yu, whose face had been gloomy, looked at Chu Feng with a bright smile, his words full of unspeakable mockery. "It's possible." Chu Feng replied indifferently but thought to himself, "There's no reason for Lu Yun to make such a basic mistake, is there? Could it be that he was careless for a moment and forgot to refine and purify another one of the spirit herbs?" Di Qing, who was nearby, also saw Lu Yun's operation and was somewhat confused. He and Chu Feng exchanged a low-key glance, both seeing a hint of worry in each other's eyes. Around them, there were a series of mocking and taunting glances drifting by. Qian Ye's smile grew even wider and he said with a laugh, "Old Chu, don't worry. From the preliminary selections, the young man from your Spirit Martial Prefecture has reached a terrifying speed in pill refining, pill production rate, and quality rate. This time, such a unique operation might be an adjustment to the pill recipe, or perhaps, he has created a new type of pill based on the original one." As soon as these words came out, they instantly caused a burst of laughter among the old men around them. Nobody noticed that President Qin Ming, the highest-ranked figure of the Ling Province Alchemist Alliance, was staring intently at Lu Yun on the screen, marveling at his calm face and incredibly skilled technique during the pill refining process. Especially after seeing Lu Yun begin pill condensation upon completing the purification of the 8 spirit herbs, he furrowed his brows and whispered, "How is this possible? One didn't tell anyone about the problem with the pill recipe. How could he, a mere third-grade alchemist, discover it? Could it be that he happened to make a mistake and accidentally forgot to refine and purify the loose Ganoderma?" Qin Ming's brows furrowed at times, relaxed at others, and he finally sighed. If that's true, this kid must be incredibly lucky. As time slowly passed, most of the alchemists had completed the refining and purifying processes and began the final step of pill condensation. Mu Changfeng's gaze was fixed intently on the medicinal liquid that was undergoing fusion in the main cabin of the alchemy furnace. Fearing that carelessness would lead to failure, he chose to fuse one batch after another carefully and cautiously, which made his fusion speed extremely slow and prevented him from pulling too far ahead of others. No matter how fast my refining speed is, it won't matter. The only thing that will decide victory is the final rate of pill formation and the quality of the pills. One must be extra careful. With a cautious attitude, Mu Changfeng quickly completed the fusion of the previous 8 batches of medicinal liquid, and a smile gradually appeared on his face. As long as he persevered and completed the fusion of the last batch of medicinal liquid, he could succeed in pill condensation. Moreover, he had great confidence that he could refine high-quality pills with pill patterns. Slowly, he removed the last batch of medicinal liquid from the isolation cabin and directed it towards the essence formed by the 8 batches of medicinal liquid that had already been fused in the main cabin. Energy began to collide, and the 2 sides started to fuse. At this moment, a faint muffled sound suddenly came from the alchemy furnace. How can this be? One followed the pill recipe and the refining details completely, and every portion of the spirit herbs has been purified to the extreme. There was no problem during fusion, so how could it fail? Staring at the charred substance in the alchemy furnace, Mu Changfeng's face was full of shock and disbelief. There was no problem with the previous steps, so there must have been a problem during the last step of fusion. Being a genius alchemist, Mu Changfeng quickly found the problem and began to analyze it. But where exactly did the problem occur? Was it the order of fusion or the control of the flame temperature? With my experience, it's impossible to make such a basic mistake, and one didn't find any problems just now. Where exactly did the problem occur? The more Mu Changfeng thought about it, the more frustrated he became. He didn't dare to continue refining before figuring out the problem. Taking a deep breath, he slightly raised his head and glanced at the alchemist next to him. By coincidence, that alchemist was also looking worriedly at the charred substance in the alchemy furnace. "There's no reason for me to fail," the alchemist murmured in confusion. After a moment of silence, he swiftly cleaned the alchemy furnace and started the second attempt at refining. "It seems that I'm not the only one who failed in fusion," Mu Changfeng thought secretly. His gaze shifted slightly and suddenly fell on the giant hourglass. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Only less than half of the sand was left in the hourglass. Not good, only half the time is left. At the same time, a faint pill fragrance drifted over from afar. Mu Changfeng immediately looked towards where the fragrance came from and saw Lu Yun. He has succeeded in pill condensation? Mu Changfeng's eyes were filled with astonishment, and the sense of urgency in his heart grew stronger. At the same time, he completely discarded the last bit of doubt in his mind, cleaned the alchemy furnace, and started refining again. When the pill fragrance arrived, many other alchemists who had been deep in thought also put their doubts aside and wholeheartedly devoted themselves to the second round of refining. Chu Yuanyeo's gaze lingered on Lu Yun for a long time. She still believed that her previous refining had no problems, but seeing Lu Yun's successful pill condensation and that he was about to produce a pill, she couldn't help but become impatient. Something seems to be off. The high-level alchemists on the platform were the first to notice that something was amiss. Lu Yun, who was supposed to fail, had now succeeded in pill condensation. As for Mu Chongfeng, Chu Yuanyao, and others who had no problems in refining pills, they all failed at the final step. Moreover, most of them failed during the fusion process, which was clear to anyone with discerning eyes that there must be a significant problem. At this thought, the elders unanimously looked towards Qin Ming, who was seated in the chief position. Qin Ming stroked his white beard, sighed, and said, "These youngsters have really disappointed me." Chapter 202. The entire army annihilated, the sole victor at a time when many contestants were failing and starting their second round of refining. Lu Yun's alchemy had reached a critical moment. His palm swung rapidly, and the refining flames inside the alchemy furnace burned fiercely. The forming pills emitted dazzling light. At this moment, the spectators in the audience seats, the VIP seats, and the high platform were all casting their gazes at the scene, as if witnessing a miracle. The pills are about to come out. Gazing at the extremely brilliant light, these alchemists knew very well what this furnace of pills represented, and their spirits began to be invigorated. Countless hearts were raised to their throats at this moment. At the moment of pill formation, the more dazzling the light, the brighter the pill's luster, and the higher the quality. The moment has finally come. Chu Feng's old dry hand firmly gripped the armrest of his chair, the sound of creaking constantly emanating, and his eyes locked on the very center of the scene. Lu Yun had a faint smile on the corner of his mouth, and in his ink-black eyes, the splendid scene inside the furnace was being reflected. The round and plump pills were tumbling in the refining flame, undergoing the final smelting and tempering. "The championship is mine." With his pupils slightly narrowed, suddenly, Lu Yun launched a burst of aura origin from his right hand and smashed it on the alchemy furnace. The lid was instantly sent flying. Immediately, the pills that had been nourished to the extreme quickly absorbed the remaining flame, and each brought up a ball of purple light, rushing out of the alchemy furnace. The ultimate pill fragrance and resplendent purple light assaulted everyone's sense of smell and sight almost simultaneously. 1, 2, 3. Gazing at the 10 perfectly round and flawless pills on the screen, someone's eyes widened and their voice trembled as they counted the number of patterned pills. 7 top-quality pills. On the high platform, Qian Yu, who had originally held some hope, turned pale. He had never expected Lu Yun's alchemy level to be so high that he could refine 7 patterned top-quality pills while everyone else failed their first attempt. With the whole field in silence lasting for several breaths, a surge of wild cheers and exclamations suddenly erupted like a deluge, shaking the entire massive square. Lu Yun's gaze swept over the high platform, VIP seats, and the audience, finally taking a look at the contest area where the flames were soaring. On his calm face, there was a trace of a faint smile. The final competition not only tested the participants' alchemy skills, but also tested whether they had the courage and resolve to question and find errors in the pill recipe. Most alchemists rely on pill recipes for their alchemy, and no matter how many times they fail, they would attribute the problem to themselves, thinking that they made a mistake in refining or controlling the flame. It was difficult for them to trace the cause to the pill recipe. That was why they were bound to fail no matter how careful and cautious they were. Lu Yun, on the other hand, was not lacking in courage and resolve to question the pill recipe. More importantly, he had enough experience and knowledge to spot the problem in the materials of the pill recipe at a glance, and find the issue right away. It could be said that from the very beginning, the test was a trap. From the moment they received the pill recipe, everyone entered the trap. From the moment Lu Yun discovered the problem with the pill recipe, he had already stood on invincible ground. To prevent accidents, he even slowed down his refining speed, eventually producing a batch of pills with a 70% success rate of top-quality pills. However, the result was beyond his expectation, as it seemed that no one besides him had found the issue with the pill recipe. With a faint smile, Lu Yun flicked his sleeve, and the 10 plump, glistening round pills, so flawlessly perfect they could be considered works of art, shot into the jade bottle on the stone platform. Ha ha ha, the competition is over. Let's all bring out our stake. On the high platform, Chu Feng looked at Lu Yun, who had successfully put away his pills, and laughed heartily as he gazed at the people around him. Old Chu, don't celebrate too soon. Anything is possible before the competition is completely over. Qian Yu couldn't help but retort against Chu Feng's arrogant attitude, but it was clear from his voice that he had no confidence. No matter who wins the championship, we should all prepare our stakes as soon as possible, so we can fulfill our promises the moment the competition ends. It's just a 6th grade pill recipe. Qian Yu snorted coldly and reluctantly took out a purple scroll, but still spoke with some defiance. Anyway, there is still 1/3 of the time left before the competition is over. It's not impossible for someone to make a comeback. Sigh. No one will make a comeback. They can't even refine a finished pill. Qin Ming sighed and shook his head on the high platform. His old face was full of disappointment. Hearing Qin Ming's words, the group of old men around him stared at each other in confusion and then looked at Qin Ming skeptically. The pill recipe for the final had an extra spirit herb, but apart from Lu Yun, none of the other youngsters found the problem. There was no way they could refine a pill if they followed the recipe completely. What disappoints me is that none of them questioned the pill recipe after failing once. As he spoke, the disappointment on Qin Ming's face deepened. Even though Lu Yun had discovered the problem with the pill recipe at first glance and refined a batch of pills with an extremely high rate of success, it couldn't make up for this disappointment. Chapter 203. The entire army annihilated, the sole victor _2 from his position, he had a broader vision and a farther sight. For the entire alchemy world of Ling Province, a single standout was far less impressive than 100 flowers blooming together. Upon hearing this, the high-level alchemists were first shocked, then quickly enlightened. Earlier, Lu Yun had succeeded in condensing pills without a portion of spirit herbs. They had vaguely realized something was wrong since then. At this moment, after Qin Ming's words, everyone suddenly understood, and their faces showed a bitter smile. They even wondered in their hearts if they could have discovered the problem with the pill recipe right away had they been the participants in the competition. Thinking about it, most of them shook their heads slightly. Under normal circumstances, almost all alchemists would firmly believe in the pill recipe and refine pills according to the described methods and details. After experiencing failure, they would refine the pills again and again, reflecting on themselves and thinking about where the problem might lie, without connecting it with the pill recipe. Sigh, the rest lost without injustice. These high-level alchemists sighed in their hearts. Seeing those busy participants refining and purifying the herbs, Lu Yun glanced at the huge hourglass and immediately began to organize the spirit herbs and jade bottles on the Qing stone platform. It is certain now that he will be the only winner of this competition. If so, why would he still contribute all the pills? As time passed, the deafening cheers on the square finally began to subside. After a visual feast, the numerous alchemists in the audience still couldn't help but turn their gaze from Lu Yun back to the other participants. Although Lu Yun's performance was astonishing and demonic, practically speaking, it didn't help to improve their alchemy skills. Because Lu Yun's techniques in controlling fire and refining pills were too fast, leaving them all dazzled. Moreover, the other participants were all genius alchemists, each with qualities worth learning from. After Lu Yun successfully condensed pills, he completely stimulated the other participants to block out external distractions and devote themselves wholeheartedly to refining pills. Unfortunately, such efforts and focus were already destined to be in vain. As expected, not long after, Mu Changfeng and Chu Yuanyao took the lead in pill melting but, unsurprisingly, both failed. I didn't succeed with 2 sets of materials? Looking at the failed materials in the furnace, Mu Changfeng fell into deep self-doubt. As for Chu Yuanyao, her innocent, adorable face full of unwillingness, her eyes flickered continuously, glancing back and forth between the furnace and the empty Qing stone platform. After the 2 of them, more people began pill melting one after another. As they added the loose Ganoderma, their pill melting all ended in failure without exception. When the last batch of failed participants raised their heads in disappointment, they were surprised to find that everyone else had stopped refining, their faces full of despair. What's going on? Am one not the only one who failed? Such a sound went off simultaneously in the hearts of many participants, and the audience and VIPs, seeing that among the third-grade alchemists, all participants but Lu Yun failed, were full of puzzled expressions. What's going on? Among the third-grade alchemists, more than 50 participants, only one succeeded? Could there be some inside information? Exactly, even if the others are inferior, it shouldn't be a total wipeout. Gradually, they began to whisper. When the last sands in the huge hourglass had flowed through, the crisp sound of the bell rang out again. In this somewhat silent and quiet atmosphere, the sound of the bell seemed so piercing and deafening. First echoing in their ears, it gradually spread into their hearts, constantly booming. Qin Ming's old body slowly stood up, and his wise, vicissitude-filled eyes slowly swept over the many genius alchemists on the competition stage. Somehow, these alchemists, who had always prided themselves as geniuses and were arrogant, couldn't meet that gaze at this moment. From afar they could feel the intense disappointment exuded from those eyes. The quiet and silent square lasted for a long time until Qin Ming sighed softly and slowly ordered, "The finals are over. Please let the staff enter the arena." Among all the third-grade alchemists, only Lu Yun successfully made a pill, but the process would not be shortened. Mu Changfeng and the others didn't make a sound. Their stone platforms were empty without a single pill. The staff with instruments quickly walked past each participant's platform without stopping, arriving in front of Lu Yun in no time. The stone platform was clean, except for a plump, round pill full of crystal luster. There was nothing else. The staff member hesitated for a moment, and at the same time, those who saw this scene through the projected picture showed a surprised expression. Weren't there 10 pills made? Why is there only 1 left now? Also, the remaining spirit herbs are gone as well. Excuse me, is there a problem? Looking at the staff member who was in a daze, Lu Yun smiled slightly. Oh, no problem. The staff member immediately picked up the pill on the stone platform and placed it on the instrument, which suddenly radiated brilliant light. Watching this scene, Chu Yuanyao, Mu Changfeng and the others didn't know what to say and had bitter expressions on their faces. Although Qin Ming was extremely disappointed, he quickly concealed his emotions and wore a smile on his face again. I announce that the winner of this alchemy conference in the third-grade alchemist category is... He slowly lifted his hand and then pointed suddenly at the youngest-looking, smiling boy, Ling Province's third-grade alchemist, Lu Yun. As soon as Qin Ming's words came out, a deafening cheer erupted in the square. Countless people stood up blushing and shouted Lu Yun's name. For a moment, the whole square was engulfed in noisy and excited cheers. No wonder everyone was so thrilled and ecstatic. Lu Yun's performance in this alchemy conference was simply too dazzling. Especially in the finals, when all the other alchemists failed, Lu Yun not only emerged as the sole winner but also refined pills with a 70% success rate in a single furnace. For many alchemists this was simply a legend. Of course, amidst this celebration, there were still a lot of confusion and doubts, but they were completely overshadowed and ignored in the excited atmosphere. The frenzy lasted for several dozen breaths before it finally subsided. At this moment, Qin Ming raised his hand, signaling everyone to be quiet. After announcing the winner of the second-grade alchemist category, his eyes swept over the crowd with a profound gaze. I believe many of you still have doubts about why, although you followed the pill recipe exactly in the refining process, you still failed. Now, I'll tell you, the reason for your failure is precisely that you followed the pill recipe entirely and had no thoughts or insights of your own during the process. You were too conservative and afraid to break your fixed thinking. Such mindset was doomed to fail from the beginning. Upon hearing this, most people's eyes revealed a bewildered expression, still not able to recognize the problem with the pill recipe. Only a few people seemed to have grasped something and looked thoughtful. Pill recipe? Mu Changfeng began to recall the description of the pill recipe in his mind, including the order of refinement, the requirements for controlling the heat, and other details. Suddenly, as if realizing something, Mu Changfeng's body trembled. Damn it, there was an extra portion of loose Ganoderma. Thinking of this, Mu Changfeng involuntarily clenched his fists, making a creaking noise. Chu Yuanyeo's gaze swept over the pill recipe in her hand, and she muttered softly, "Did he discover the problem with the pill recipe from the beginning?" Immediately afterward, an unusual smile emerged on her pure and lovely face as she looked at the seemingly younger boy, a transforming origin realm martial artist, and at least a peak third-grade alchemist in Pill Dao. What an outstanding young man. Chapter 204. Fire Seed, White Lotus Flame. After announcing the champion, the much-anticipated alchemy conference in Ling Province finally drew to a close, but the impact it had created was just beginning. It was foreseeable that a violent storm would soon sweep through all directions. Walking out of the venue, Lu Yun saw Di Qing and others who were already waiting for him. Seeing Lu Yun, they all couldn't help but reveal a kind smile. "Lu Yun, well done. From now on, you'll be the most eye-catching rising star in the Ling Province Alchemist Association." Di Qing's face couldn't hide the joy and excitement. This time, he was truly thrilled. Since becoming a sixth-grade alchemist, he had rarely been as excited and happy as he was today. During this time, Di Ruoling, Deng Yunhui, Yin Hualin, and others frequently looked at Lu Yun, sincerely happy for his achievement. Lu Yun's victory in the alchemy conference not only benefited him, but also greatly helped the Spirit Martial Prefecture's Alchemist Association. As members of the Spirit Martial Prefecture branch, they could also benefit from this. After some casual conversation, Lu Yun asked, "Elder Di, where is President Chu?" Di Qing turned around, looked at Di Ruoling and others behind him, and smiled. "You guys can go back to the restaurant first or stroll around outside. I'll take Lu Yun to meet President Chu." Following Di Qing, they bypassed the huge square and headed towards the depths of the Alchemist Association complex. Along the way, they encountered many alchemists who stopped and showed friendly smiles upon seeing Lu Yun. Even in some more crowded corridors and walkways, most alchemists would voluntarily make way and nod at Lu Yun with a smile. Such treatment made Lu Yun feel a little uncomfortable. "Ha ha ha, one didn't expect that your reputation as a third-grade alchemist in this headquarters is even bigger than mine as a sixth-grade alchemist." Di Qing couldn't help but laugh as they passed through a corridor. Lu Yun smiled faintly at Di Qing's somewhat teasing words, not thinking that his own reputation could surpass the other parties. In reality, sixth-grade alchemists were seen as unattainable by lower-level alchemists. They would generally avoid them from afar or lower their heads when they couldn't avoid them, not daring to look directly at them. However, this time, because of Lu Yun, these alchemists had voluntarily ignored Di Qing leading the way, not noticing the conspicuous silver badge on his chest. Di Qing seemed to be familiar with the buildings here, walking through the maze-like corridors without hesitation. After turning several more corridors, they finally arrived at a luxurious and spacious room. "It's here." Di Qing had no intention of knocking on the door. As he walked forward, the door opened automatically, and Lu Yun stepped in behind him. Entering the room, they saw the white-haired Qin Ming and goat-bearded Chu Feng seated in chairs. Chu Yuanyao in palace attire stood quietly to the side. Upon seeing Di Qing and Lu Yun, they all cast a smiling glance. Our Ling province's most talented alchemist has finally arrived. Looking at Lu Yun, who squeezed in, Di Qing sized him up for a moment before jokingly saying, "President Qin, don't belittle me." Lu Yun slightly bowed his hand, humbly yet respectfully saying, "This championship was all due to luck." Hee hee. Qin Ming chuckled, his wise eyes flashing a satisfied smile. Without further ado, he raised his right hand, and a ring on his index finger flashed. A black stone box appeared in his palm. The black stone box emanated a deep, dark light. A burning sensation radiated from it, and the room seemed to have restless energy flowing through it. As Lu Yun looked at the black stone box, a glint flashed in his eyes, and his calm heart rippled. Qin Ming slowly stroked the stone box with his palm and smiled. "I originally thought that this fire seed would belong to my precious disciple, but I didn't expect this girl to be so disappointing." At his words, Chu Yuanyeo's pure and lovely face revealed a slightly shy blush. Her bright eyes stared at Lu Yun, flickering with a strange light. How extraordinary this young man was, not only discovering the problem with the pill recipe at the beginning but also refining a pill with a 70% success rate. She wholeheartedly accepted defeat at the hands of such a young man. This is the reward for winning the alchemy conference, a natural tinder. From now on, it belongs to you. With that, Qin Ming waved his right hand, and the black stone box transformed into a black light, shooting towards Lu Yun. Feeling somewhat excited, Lu Yun carefully accepted the black stone box and couldn't help touching it up and down. The slightly hot surface of the stone box was engraved with some ancient patterns and marks, faint energy revealing itself. This should be the prohibition for sealing the fire seed. The natural tinder, as the name suggests, is born between heaven and earth, absorbing the spiritual energy of the world, and taking shape after 1,000 years. This seed has existed for about 1,200 years. Its color is milky white and shaped like a lotus, hence its name, white lotus flame. The white lotus flame has a purifying effect, which is of great benefit to alchemists. Moreover, it possesses immense power. In its normal state, it can defeat even ordinary transforming origin realm martial artists. To subdue it, one must at least reach the peak of the transforming origin realm. Chapter 205. Fire Seed, White Lotus Flame _2. Looking at Lu Yun's slightly excited appearance, Qin Ming continued to smile and said, "But now it is sealed in the stone box. Given your strength in the transforming origin realm, you can perfectly subdue it. To avoid arousing other people's greed, you should refine the white lotus flame here and now." "Refine it here?" Lu Yun looked around with a puzzled face. "Hee, I've already prepared a room for you," Qin Ming chuckled, then turned to Chu Yuanyao at his side. "Yuanyao, could you take Lu Yun to the study where I usually cultivate?" Chu Yuanyao, dressed in palace clothes, nodded. She then playfully said to Lu Yun, "Follow me." Once they left the room, Chu Yuanyao seemed to be a different person, bounding and hopping ahead with her hands behind her back. Lu Yun was stunned for a moment before laughing and following. Along the way, Chu Yuanyao often looked back at Lu Yun. However, her gaze never landed on the black stone box in his hand, seemingly uninterested in the priceless natural tinder. Following the young girl through 2 corridors, they arrived outside a relatively quiet room. "Lu Yun, this is where my master usually cultivates. You go in yourself," she said. "Thank you, Miss Yuanyao." Lu Yun nodded and smiled. Chu Yuanyao smiled sweetly, turned and walked a few steps, then turned back and said, "When you've refined the fire seed, return to the room we were just in." With that, she turned and bounced away again. Watching the departure of the girl who was so different from her usual dignified and gentle demeanor, Lu Yun shook his head and laughed before pushing the door and entering. It was a simple cultivation room. Aside from a green stone cushion, there was no other decoration. It seemed somewhat unfitting for Qin Ming's respected status. Gently closing the door, Lu Yun slowly walked over and sat cross-legged on the green stone cushion. Immediately, he noticed something strange. Sitting on the green stone cushion, a sudden feeling of coolness invaded his heart and mind. The whole world seemed to fall into absolute tranquility. This green stone cushion can purify the mind. It's quite a nice treasure, he murmured. Lu Yun softly spoke, then carefully unfolded the black stone box in front of him. Immediately, a hot breath spread out, quickly heating up the cultivation room. Such a high temperature would be unbearable for an average martial artist in the true Qi realm. But for Lu Yun, there was no significant difference compared to ordinary flames. He looked into the stone box. There was a white molten substance which was continuously undulating and leaping, but because of the prohibition power, it could not leave the stone box. So, this is the seed of the white lotus flame? Staring at the white molten substance before him, Lu Yun squinted his eyes and commented softly. This seed was different from the one he saw in the Alchemist Alliance trading area. It was not only larger, but also seemed to have more terrifying power. How should one refine it next? Lu Yun blinked, falling into thought for a moment. He had refined spirit herbs and pills before, but never a fire seed. After a brief hesitation, a heavy feeling welled up in Lu Yun's heart, and the pure yang aura origin in his dantian began to churn. Just then, the prohibition on the stone box suddenly became ineffective, and the fire seed suddenly transformed into a white lotus-shaped magma, rushing into Lu Yun's body. This sudden change was completely beyond Lu Yun's expectations. When the fire seed entered his body, he felt as if he had been struck by lightning. His face instantly turned pale. Feeling the intense burning pain within his body, Lu Yun didn't dare to be careless and immediately calmed down his mind. At this moment in his body, the white magma was rushing wildly, breaking into tiny white flames, furiously shuttling through his meridians. Like a flood or a ferocious beast, everything in its path was purified by its burning heat. As the flames flicker and flare, his once expansive and robust meridians begin to distort. Intense pain washes over Lu Yun, turning his already pallid complexion even paler. In the midst of these meridians, the white flames continue to dart around wildly, tearing through his flesh and wreaking havoc without restraint. Fortunately, pure yang strong origin soon catches up. It meticulously repairs the damaged meridians and flesh, quickly engulfing the scattered white flames. Under the influence of pure yang strong origin, these mischievous white flames become docile and begin to flow through the meridians. Under Lu Yun's careful control, the white flames gradually fuse together. When the last thread of white flame merges, it solidifies into a magma in the shape of a white lotus. With the protective cover provided by strong origin, Lu Yun slowly guides it, encouraging it to journey through the major meridians within his body. Despite the protection of strong origin, the scorching heat emitted shrinks the meridians, sending waves of pain through Lu Yun's trembling body. After the white lotus-shaped magma completes a cycle through one of the meridians, its connection with his consciousness seems to grow stronger. Furthermore, its power increases while its harm to the meridians and his body becomes lesser with continuous movement and refinement. After traveling through all the meridians, the pure yang strong origin in Lu Yun's body finally stops paying attention to the white lotus flame, allowing it to freely wander throughout his body. The meridians again twist and warp, the flesh burns anew, and extreme pain assaults his mind once more. But this time, the destruction caused by the white lotus flame is just within Lu Yun's limit of tolerance. In the serene cultivation room, Lu Yun sits on a bluestone cushion, appearing to be in a profound trance. White flames circle around his body, their terrifying heat raising the surrounding temperature. The white lotus flame wreaks havoc, and the pure yang strong origin follows in its wake, healing the wreckage. Every completed cycle brings another round of excruciating pain for Lu Yun. However, as time passes, the feeling of pain grows weaker. The meridians within his body become wider and tougher thanks to the white lotus flame's purifying burn and the restoration of the pure yang strong origin. his bones and flesh brim with vitality and power, their resilience surpassing previous levels. With each cycle of destruction and restoration, Lu Yun's meridians and flesh are slowly improving. After dozens of cycles, the pain finally disappears completely. The white lotus flame, having fulfilled its mission, transforms into small tendrils of flames. Like blood, they permeate every corner of his body, becoming an integral part of him. At the same time, the bond between Lu Yun's consciousness and the white lotus flame strengthens and becomes even more harmonious. With a mere thought, these countless threads of white fire that pervade every corner of his body instantly coalesce into a terrifying white lotus flame. Within this white lotus flame, a naked Lu Yun slowly opens his eyes. A faint white flame dances in his ink-black eyes. After a while, the white lotus flame roars out explosively, radiating an overpowering aura. Slowly rising from the bluestone cushion, as the white lotus flame subsides, his robust physique reveals graceful muscle lines, with skin exceptionally fair and clear. Lu Yun stretches gently, his body filled with explosive strength. Breathing in deeply, his face reflects comfort and bliss as he experiences the changes in his body. Looking down, Lu Yun cherishes his flawless body, his heart filled with joy. He had not expected this refinement of the white lotus flame to not just increase the strength of his flesh, but to also change his skin, making it as fair as a newborn's, a metamorphosis akin to a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly. Although I have become fairer and stronger, it feels not so nice to be nude. Lu Yun shakes his head slightly, immediately putting on a new set of clothes he retrieved from his sumi bag. Not bad, I've become more handsome. Even without this formidable strength, I could coast through life on my looks. Chapter 206. The Terrifying White Lotus Flame. Let's test the power of the White Lotus Flame. In the cultivation room, a look of excitement and anticipation that Lu Yun couldn't hide surfaced on his face. Rubbing his hands, he slowly extended his right hand, then gradually closed his eyes, his mind sinking rapidly into his body. As his mind sank, a bridge connecting him to the white lotus flame was successfully established, and the fire seed deeply buried in his body trembled slightly. Moments later, a strand of white flame violently surged out. More white lotus flames awakened from every cell in his bloodstream, converging and flowing through his meridians. In the blink of an eye, they entered the meridians in his arm. In the dim and quiet cultivation room, Lu Yun's eyes, slightly closed, suddenly opened wide, with a streak of white flame flashing by. His palm opened abruptly, and his handsome face darkened as he shouted, "White lotus flame, appear!" As his shout fell, his body trembled, then a torrent of white flames instantly erupted, enveloping his entire palm. Lu Yun had completely refined and subjugated the white lotus flame, making it part of his flesh and blood, unable to cause him any harm. Soon, the white flame completely enveloped his right arm, and as Lu Yun gradually controlled and used it, it eventually engulfed his entire body. In the dim cultivation room, the eerie white flame enveloping a handsome youth created a slightly shocking visual impact. Staring intently at the white flame burning all over his body, feeling no sense of burning or scorching, only the warmth as if bathing in the morning sun. However, the surrounding air crackled constantly, like boiling water or burning clouds. Perceiving this bizarre scene, a shallow curve appeared at the corner of Lu Yun's mouth, gradually widening into a pleasing smile that spread across his handsome face. The white lotus flame has been refined. I only wonder if it can be upgraded through energy value. Thinking of this, Lu Yun's thoughts moved, and the flames covering his body immediately converged. His mind sank and opened the panel. Name: Lu Yun. A Force. Flying Spirit Martial Academy. A Cultivation Technique. Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon. Transforming Origin Chapter. Small Achievement 61%. Astonishing Wind Saber Manual. 4th Layer. Breaking Extreme 100%. Life Destruction Saber Techniques. 1st Layer. 1 strike end sins 100%, wind thunder manual, first layer, chasing wind and thunder, ILO %. Innate talent, 7 stars, martial arts. Mid-transforming origin realm, energy value, 6, automatically increases by 2 every day, conception, slaughter conception, first rank 80%. Pill refining technique, level 4, 2%. Talent, White Lotus Flame, first rank 1%. As I thought. The White Lotus Flame also appears on the panel, and it can also be upgraded using energy values. I just don't know what its limit can be. Lu Yun rubbed his chin. Soon after, he took out 9 pills and spirit herbs from the sumi bag. Before long, the pills and spirit herbs obtained from the alchemy conference were all refined by him. The energy value, 3206, automatically increases by 2 every day. Haha, another harvest of energy value. With a light laugh, Lu Yun began to upgrade the White Lotus Flame. Consume 100 energy value, White Lotus Flame upgrades to first rank 20%. Consume 400 energy value, White Lotus Flame upgrades to first rank 100%. With the energy value sharply reducing to 706, the White Lotus Flame was upgraded to the 3rd rank. I wonder how the power of the 3rd rank White Lotus Flame compares to before? With this thought in mind, Lu Yun's thoughts moved, and a strand of white flame, like a mischievous elf, leaped out between his fingers. The surging white flame instantly erupted, bursting out with its terrifying power. The space several feet surrounding his palm was instantly scorched and distorted by the intense heat, causing the light to bend, and his vision to gradually blur. His thoughts shifted again, and the fire seed deep within his body trembled once more. The flame factors fused with his blood surged and burst out from his meridians. The white flame at the tip of his finger swelled again, and moments later, it transformed into a white lotus flame cluster. After the white lotus cluster formed, it suddenly illuminated the dim space of the whole cultivation room. At the same time, the scorching temperature of its bloom instantly heated the surrounding space, causing ripples to continuously appear and surge around. Buzz. The body trembled slightly. As if afraid of causing damage to this cultivation room, Lu Yun's thoughts shifted slightly, and without waiting for its terrifying power to explode, it had already completely retracted. Looking at the mottled walls of the cultivation room, Lu Yun revealed a bitter smile. Not only were the surrounding walls damaged, but even the floor and ceiling had become pitted and uneven, like a bulging balloon with the air instantly drawn out of it, and the powerful surrounding forces squeezed it into a completely different shape. If he hadn't put away the White Lotus Flame in time just now, this cultivation room might have been reduced to ashes. I didn't mean to. With a bitter smile, Lu Yun left the cultivation room. You refined the fire seed so quickly? Seeing Lu Yun return, Qin Ming, Chu Feng, and others had incredulous expressions in their eyes. Normally, refining a fire seed at the transforming origin realm would take at least 12 hours. But from the moment Lu Yun left to now, it had only been about an hour. My aura origin is rather special, so I can suppress the fire seed, which is why I can refine it faster. After explaining with a smile, Lu Yun looked at Qin Ming. President Qin, just now while one was refining the fire seed, I might have caused some damage to your cultivation room. At this point, Lu Yun rubbed his hands together somewhat awkwardly. Haha, it doesn't matter. I'll have someone fix it up later. As for you refining the fire seed, it will consume a lot of your body and spirit. Take some time to recuperate, and when you recover your peak state, you can consider advancing to become a level 4 alchemist. Hearing this, Lu Yun touched his nose awkwardly and thought, what expression would they have if they saw the completely deformed walls scorched by the heat? Looking at Lu Yun's shy appearance, Qin Ming was even more satisfied with him and promptly reminded, as long as you can advance to a level 4 alchemist within 3 months, you can have an honorary executive title here in the headquarters, and later you can get help in various branches in Ling Province. Honorary executive? Lu Yun was a bit puzzled. Chu Feng, who was sitting next to Qin Ming, smiled and stroked his goatee. Lu Yun, you should thank President Qin. The honorary executive position is only available in the Alchemist Alliance headquarters, and its status is equivalent to that of the vice presidents of various branches in Ling Province. It enjoys great convenience in various places. As for advancing to a level 4 alchemist within 3 months, I think it should not be a problem for you. After finishing, Chu Feng raised his right hand, and with a flash of light, 3 scrolls appeared in his palm. These 3 scrolls are 4th, 5th, and 6th grade pill recipes, your rewards for representing Ling Province in the Alchemy Conference. As the president of the Ling Province branch, I can't be stingy. With these, you don't have to worry about the pill recipes until you advance to a 7th grade alchemist. Hearing this, Lu Yun was overjoyed and hurriedly took the 3 scrolls. Among them, the green scroll was the 4th grade pill recipe, the cyan scroll was the 5th grade pill recipe, and the blue scroll was the 6th grade pill recipe. Feeling the weight of the 3 scrolls in his hand, Lu Yun sincerely expressed his gratitude to Chu Feng. For him, the only constraint on becoming a level 4 alchemist was the pill recipes. Now, this constraint no longer exists. Alright, little guy, you already got your reward. Next, you can take a stroll around the Alliance. Although the conference is over, with so many alchemists gathered here, there are bound to be lively exchange meetings. You may join them, and it might help you advance to a level 4 alchemist sooner. Qin Ming casually glanced at Chu Yuanyao next to him and laughed. Yuanyao, you are familiar with the State City and the Alchemist Alliance. You can take Lu Yun for a walk and get to know and exchange experiences with each other. Lu Yun glanced helplessly at the gentle and dignified Chu Yuanyao, then looked at Qin Ming, Chu Feng, and Di Qing before suddenly asking, "What are you guys planning to do?" Chu Feng laughed, glanced at Di Qing, and then said with a smile, "You won the Alchemy Conference Championship, so now we need to discuss the resource allocation for the Lingwu Prefecture branch for the next 5 years. This little guy Lu Yun has made a name for himself, giving the Lingwu Prefecture a big advantage." Qin Ming shook his head with a smile. The alchemy level of Lingwu Prefecture had always been in the bottom 3 among the 36 prefectures of Ling Province. But this time, because of Lu Yun, their overall performance shot up to the front rank. "Since you all have something to do, we won't bother you any longer. Excuse us." With a slight bow to the 3 of them, Lu Yun didn't linger and left the room with Chu Yuanyao. We are becoming more and more powerless with each generation. The future of Ling Province and Morijin depends on these young people. Watching the departing backs of Lu Yun and Chu Yuanyao, Qin Ming stood up from his chair and sighed with laughter. Chapter 207. 4th Grade Pill Recipe, 3-striped azure spirit pill under the gazes filled with various meanings. Lu Yun followed Chu Yuanyao and left the Alchemist Alliance. The setting sun cast its remaining light, making the golden and splendid palaces extraordinarily beautiful. Being a city that accommodated millions of people, there was never a shortage of tall and splendid buildings. Standing at the gate and looking at the gradually quieting crowd, Chu Yuanyao stretched lazily and made as if to embrace the sunset. Lu Yun stood by her side, silently staring ahead without saying a word. Gradually, the last hint of sunset was swallowed by the darkness. Somewhere along the way, an enchanting figure slowly appeared. With her arrival, the temperature unconsciously dropped several times over. It seems trouble has arrived. Feeling the icy temperature coming from behind him, a faint smile appeared on Lu Yun's face, but he never once turned his head to look at the newcomer. Chu Lingsu's gaze lingered on Lu Yun for a moment, then returned to Chu Yuanyao. "Miss, we should head back." Chu Yuanyao didn't respond immediately. After a long silence, she finally spoke. "Sister Lingxue, our teacher told us to show Lu Yun around." "Did President Qin say that?" Chu Lingsu's eyebrows furrowed, but she didn't say anything further. However, Lu Yun could sense that the surrounding coldness became even thicker. "Miss Yuanyao, if you're busy, you can go ahead. I can just stroll around. In fact, I also have things to do, so I'll leave first. Lu Yun responded with a nod and a smile, before turning around and quickly leaving. Sister Lingxue, look, you've scared another one away. At the gate, Chu Yuanyao watched as Lu Yun hurriedly walked away, shaking her head helplessly. She had initially planned to probe Lu Yun for information. Miss, it's better for you to interact less with others, it's for their own good and yours. Rushing from the Alchemist Alliance, Lu Yun found himself wandering aimlessly around the city street. No doubt about it, spending time with those two women left him more exhausted than spending a whole day at the alchemy conference. The city was home to several million people, so one could always spot martial artists of the true Qi realm and the transforming origin realm on the streets. Even those of the origin fluid realm were not few. Moreover, the bustling streets were lined with various shops filled with all sorts of eye-catching goods, enough to leave anyone dazzled. Unfortunately, none of this held meaning or value to Lu Yun, who had no intention to linger. While quickly walking on the streets, Lu Yun only gave passing glances to most things, then swiftly moved on. He liked the hustle and bustle, but also feared it. In the bustling streets, he stood out as an anomaly. It wasn't until he reached the end of a street that Lu Yun finally slowed his pace. Looking up at the colossal structure and unique symbol in the distance, his face revealed a hint of surprise. No doubt about it, this is the headquarters of the Purple Gold Chamber of Commerce in Ling Province. This scale far surpasses the Purple Gold Auction House in the Spirit Martial Prefecture. It's even comparable to the headquarters of the Alchemist Alliance. Watching as countless people flowed into the Purple Gold Auction House, Lu Yun tucked his hands into his sleeves and stepped onto the broad street paved with green stones. The closer he got to the enormous Purple Gold Auction House, the more amazed Lu Yun seemed by the enormous flow of people, wondering how much the Purple Gold Chamber of Commerce makes in a day. Easily weaving through the crowded street, an assortment of martial artists were present, and as just one of many, Lu Yun blended in. After weaving his way through the crowded entrance and escaping the scrutinizing gaze of the guards, he casually walked in. Upon entering the auction house, the soft light cascaded down, reflecting off the marble floors and brightly illuminating the surroundings. The bustle from outside seemed thoroughly blocked by the door, as if stepping into another world in just one stride. Taking a few steps to avoid the crowded entrance, Lu Yun paused, his gaze sweeping across the venue. His mouth was slightly agape as he looked in amazement at the hall, which resembled a city made of crystal. Luxurious, splendid, decorated with jade, it was indescribably beautiful. These phrases couldn't capture just how shockingly opulent the hall was. Inside the luxurious hall, grim-faced, sharp-eyed, fully armed guards could be seen everywhere. These guards wore the badge of the Purple Gold Chamber of Commerce, clearly indicating they were part of its security force. With just a glimpse, Lu Yun could tell that dozens of eyes scanned over him, several of which emanated auras no weaker than his own at his peak. It was no wonder this was the Purple Gold Chamber of Commerce. Such grandeur, even when compared to the headquarters of the Alchemist Alliance where the Alchemy Conference was held, it was second to none. With a sigh of awe in his heart, Lu Yun continued walking forward. Within the hall, there were corridors leading in every direction. Along both sides of these corridors were numerous crystal counters filled with a variety of precious items. The price of each and every item was clearly marked, with every transaction conducted using only spirit crystals. Lu Yun moved along with the flow of people, walking through the central aisle of the counters. This area was merely the periphery of the Purple Gold Chamber of Commerce, catering mainly to martial artists below the transforming origin realm. Moving into the inner area, a multitude of richly decorated shops came into sight. These shops stocked very specialized merchandise, either dealing exclusively with various kinds of pills, weapons, or other precious items. It was indeed a diversified marketplace. In the innermost layer, there were numerous auction venues of varying sizes. However, Lu Yun's target this time was the shops in the inner circle. Upon seeing Lu Yun approaching, an elegantly dressed woman greeted him. A gentle smile like a spring breeze crossed her pretty face. "Welcome, dear customer," she said softly, her eyes on Lu Yun. Lu Yun replied with a smile, very satisfied with the woman's service, and stepped into the shop. He surveyed the multitude of spirit herbs arranged on the shelves but soon shifted his gaze back to the woman. "Do you have a pen and paper?" "Of course, please wait a moment." Shortly afterwards, she fetched him a pen and a piece of paper. Lu Yun took the pen and paper and quickly wrote a list full of characters, a list of spirit herbs necessary to refine the three-striped azure spirit pill. He then handed the list to the woman and asked with a smile, "Can you see if you have these spirit herbs? If so, how many spirit crystals would they cost in total?" The woman showed a professional smile, quickly reading the contents of the note. After finishing, her professional smile gradually became a genuine one. The spirit herbs listed were all of the 4th grade and not just one stock each, but more than 10. Completing this order would earn her a commission equivalent to half a month's wage. Lu Yun gently raised an eyebrow. "So, do you have them all?" "We do." After pondering for a moment, the woman smiled and said, "But they might be a bit expensive, as all these spirit herbs are of the 4th grade, each usually costing several or even more than a dozen spirit crystals." "You don't need to worry about the price, just tell me how many spirit crystals I would need for all these spirit herbs." Upon hearing this, the woman's smile deepened. "A stalk of clear heart 3-leaf grass would cost 13 spirit crystals, and 2 heavenly Zen spirit leaves is 18 spirit crystals. In total, that would be 78 spirit crystals." Lu Yun pondered for a moment before saying, "Give me 3 sets of the spirit herbs listed on this note." Upon hearing Lu Yun's words, the woman's smile instantly intensified. "Please wait a moment, sir." Not long after, the woman brought over 3 jade boxes and delicately placed them on the counter. She said respectfully, "Sir, all the spirit herbs you ordered are here. You're welcome to check them." Lu Yun nodded, opened the jade boxes, and checked each one. Each jade box contained 1 set of materials necessary to refine the 4th grade 3-striped azure spirit pill. 3 jade boxes meant 3 sets of materials. There's no issue with the herbs, and they've been well preserved with sufficient age. After checking, Lu Yun took out 234 spirit crystals from his sumi bag and handed them to her. He then collected the 3 jade boxes on the counter. After returning to the inn and not finding Deruoling and the others, Lu Yun directly went back to his room. After closing the door, he quickly went into the inner room. Sitting next to the table, Lu Yun directed his gaze at the 3 jade boxes in front of him. After carefully closing the doors and windows, Lu Yun waved his hand and a small alchemy furnace appeared in front of him. He had bought this alchemy furnace in Spirit Marshal Prefecture for dozens of spirit crystals. Besides initially refining a 1st-grade pill, he hadn't used it again. Now it was finally going to serve its purpose again. My pill refining technique is just barely at the 4th level. To be safe, I have to invest all my remaining energy points into the pill refining technique. Immediately, Lu Yun sank his mind and opened the system panel, letting his thoughts focus on the pill refining technique. Upgrade. After about a dozen breaths of time. Energy value 6 automatically increases by 2 each day. Pill refining technique. Level 4, 8%. Chapter 208. Alchemy Technique Improvement, 4th Grade Alchemist Assessment. Looking at the remaining energy value on the panel, Lu Yun pondered for a moment, then put it away and started studying the pill recipe. With a sweep of his spiritual power, the refining method, details, and precautions for the 3-striped azure spirit pill on the pill recipe immediately appeared in his mind. 10 minutes later, Lu Yun memorized the key points and combined them with the experience already in his mind, making them thoroughly understood. With a flick of his sleeve, a force struck the top of the alchemy furnace, and the cover flew off. Immediately after, Lu Yun's right index and middle fingers closed together, and with a slight pull, A faint suction lifted the spirit herbs from the jade box, and then carefully placed them into the alchemy furnace. With a mental command, a white flame leaped from his fingertips, and with a flick, the spark swelled rapidly and rushed into the alchemy furnace, enveloping the spirit herbs and began fiercely burning. As the flames tumbled, Lu Yun, who was staring closely at the interior of the alchemy furnace, suddenly exclaimed softly. He found that the speed of refining spirit herbs was very fast, even much faster than refining second-grade spirit herbs in the past. This white lotus flame is truly a heaven and earth spiritual fire. With it, my pill refining efficiency will greatly increase in the future. Chuckling softly, Lu Yun carefully manipulated the white flame, burning the spirit herbs in the alchemy furnace. As the flame rose, before long, a fourth-grade spirit herb worth more than a dozen spirit crystals was thoroughly refined into a ball of medicinal liquid. With a wave of his hand, another burst of white flame gushed from his palm into the alchemy furnace, and the temperature of the white flame soared. In a short while, small yellow residues appeared on the surface of the medicinal liquid. As the white flames tumbled continuously, the yellow residues appeared and were stripped away, burning into ashes. The remaining ball of medicinal liquid became increasingly clear and translucent. In the white flames, it was like a transparent elliptical bead, emitting a faint glow, extremely dazzling and attractive. Not only has the refining speed greatly improved, but the purification has also become more perfect, nearly refining out all the residues in the medicinal liquid. Mumbling to himself, Lu Yun began refining the second type of spirit herb. With the help of the white lotus flame, he found that both refining and purification had become much easier, so he no longer satisfied with refining one spirit herb at a time. With a grasp, 3 spirit herbs from the jade box directly flew into the alchemy furnace. Different spirit herbs required different maximum temperatures for refining, and a slight mistake would result in the spirit herbs being burnt into residues, so Lu Yun had to be fully focused. 3 balls of white flame were burning a spirit herb each, and the temperatures were not all the same. For the manipulator, it was a considerable pressure and challenge. Lu Yun's face became extremely serious at this moment, as he used both hands simultaneously, without any relaxation in his attention. Now, he must control the heat of the 3 flames perfectly. Otherwise, if any of the herbs were burned into waste residues, the other 2 would not escape the same fate. In such a case, his loss would be several dozen spirit crystals. In the small alchemy furnace, the 3 flames burned around 3 different spirit herbs, forming a tripod-like situation, colliding with each other but unaffected by each other thanks to the control of a pair of powerful hands. Dividing his attention into 3 parts was somewhat difficult and the pressure was quite high, but Lu Yun was surprised to find that the connection between his mind and the white lotus flame became more and more tacit, and his control over the white lotus flame grew stronger, just like the control of the aura origin, gradually approaching the level of being able to do whatever he wanted. As the flames surged wave after wave, one of the spirit herbs was refined first and required a change in the flame's temperature to be purified. Meanwhile, the other 2 spirit herbs were still undergoing refinement, requiring the fire to remain steady. This presented a new challenge for him. Fortunately, Lu Yun persisted and successfully completed the transition from refinement to purification. With a sizzling sound, yellow residue continuously rolled out from the 3 clumps of liquid medicine, stripped away and turned into ashes under the tempering of the white flame. Having experienced the first success, Lu Yun's subsequent operations became much smoother, and as his control over the white lotus flame improved, it became easier for him to refine several different spirit herbs at the same time. If it weren't for the small size of the red furnace and its limited internal space, he would have wanted to refine and purify even more spirit herbs simultaneously. After purifying all the spirit herbs, 8 clusters of translucent liquid that gleamed like crystals appeared inside the furnace. The energy contained within each cluster was enormous, far surpassing the energy when refining third-grade spirit herbs. Within the rolling white flames, the 8 pearl-like clusters of medicine liquid remained in a stalemate for a while before gradually drawing closer under the pull of a powerful force. In the red furnace, white flames rose and burned while the 8 crystal-clear, pearl-like medicine liquids leaped and rolled. Merge! At this moment, Lu Yun let out a soft shout, and a powerful aggressive aura surged forth from his palm, striking the alchemy furnace. With a muffled sound, the 8 clumps of medicine liquid inside the furnace violently collided. At the same time, the white flame roared like it was immensely stimulated. The boiling flame filled the entire alchemy furnace, with excess flames howling out through the toad mouth. Lu Yun had no time to worry about the howling white flames. A powerful aggressive aura swept out, enveloping the energy that was suddenly released from inside the alchemy furnace. This energy was terrifying. If some of it were allowed to escape, the low-level alchemy furnace would not be able to withstand it and would easily burst. "Get back in there!" Lu Yun shouted harshly, and a powerful aura surged forth, instantly covering the entire red alchemy furnace. All the flames and energy furiously flooded back, converging towards the center of the furnace. "Condense!" With a sudden roar, Lu Yun forcefully struck the top of the alchemy furnace. In the center of the blazing white flames, a burst of green light suddenly radiated, swiftly illuminating the entire room. As the green light surged out, large swaths of white flames roared out from the toad mouths, along with the lid of the alchemy furnace. At this moment, a rich pill fragrance slowly rose, eventually forming a cloud of spiritual mist in the room. "Ha ha ha, the pill is complete!" Inside the alchemy furnace, the white flames slowly extinguished, and 10 green lights burst out of the furnace, floating in midair with a brilliant gleam. Lu Yun beckoned with his palm, and the 10 dragon-eye-sized green pills flew into his hand. "Ha, the 3-striped azure spirit pill has finally been successfully refined, with 4 of them reaching the premium grade." White flames flickered in Lu Yun's eyes as he stared intently at the green pills in his hand. For the first time in refining a 4th-grade pill, Lu Yun successfully produced a high-quality pill with pill patterns, and 4 of them at that, which can only be considered an exceptional performance. Of course, this was mainly due to the White Lotus Flame. The 3rd-rank White Lotus Flame had nearly purified the medicinal solution to its limit, otherwise, it would have been impossible for him to produce a high-quality pill with his newly acquired Level 4 pill refining technique. If my pill refining technique had reached Level 4 perfection, I wouldn't have had such difficulty earlier. Feeling the scorching temperature emitted from the 3-striped azure spirit pills, Lu Yun's eyes shone brightly. In the next instant, golden pure yang origin covered the palm of his hand, enveloping 10 azure pills. After the pure yang aggressive aura was converted to pure yang strong origin, the refinement efficiency increased greatly, and it took less than 10 minutes for the pills in his palm to be completely refined. Plus 2150 energy value, level up. With a thought, 2000 energy points were spent, and a wave of new memories surged into his mind. After fully assimilating this memory, Lu Yun felt even sharper, and his understanding of the Tao of pills became even clearer and more comprehensive. His gaze fell on the transparent and illusory panel in front of him. Energy value 156 automatically increases by 2 per day, pill refining technique. Level 4, 28%. Lu Yun had fully recovered and returned to the peak state after leveling up his pill refining technique to level 4 and 28%. His gaze fell on the second jade box, and with a slight lift of his palm, 3 spirit herbs were wrapped in a mysterious force and shot into the alchemy furnace. Immediately after, his fingers tapped continuously, with 3 white flames enveloping the spirit herbs and starting to burn furiously. With previous experience, Lu Yun's control over the White Lotus Flame became more effortless. Furthermore, by leveling his pill refining technique to 28% of level 4, his skill had greatly increased. Less than an hour later, the second batch of pills was successfully produced. This time there were 5 high-quality pills. After refining them all, his energy value increased by 2200 points. Level up. Soon, the energy value on his panel plummeted. Consume 2300 energy points. Pill refining technique upgraded to level 4, 51%. Immediately after, a mass of complex memories flooded his mind. Once merged, Lu Yun discovered his mind was even clearer. His senses were further heightened, the fragrance of pills in the room became heavier, and even the sound of the wind from outside the window became clearer. It seems that while the energy value improves my pill refining technique, it also enhances my spiritual power. Following this, Lu Yun began to refine the third batch of pills. The next day, early morning. As usual, after ending his cultivation, Lu Yun opened his panel to check his progress. Name: Lu Yun. Affiliation: Flying Spirit Martial Academy. Cultivation Technique: Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon. Transforming Origin Chapter. Small Achievement 63%. Astonishing Wind Extreme Saber Manual. 4th Layer. Breaking Extreme 100%. Life Destruction Saber Techniques. 1st Layer. One Strike End Sins 100%. Wind Thunder Manual. 1st Layer. Chasing Wind, Catching Lightning. 100%. Innate Talent. 7 stars. Martial Arts. Midstage Transforming Origin Realm. Energy Value 88, automatically increases by 2 per day. Conception, Slaughter Conception, first rank 80%. Skill, Pill Refining Technique, level 4 75%. Talent, White Lotus Flame, third rank 1%. With the enhancement of the third rank White Lotus Flame, combined with his current level of alchemy, Lu Yun could easily achieve a 70% rate of high-quality pills in a single furnace, which was unbelievably formidable. As long as I can refine one more batch of 4th-grade pills and then convert them all into energy points, one can achieve level 4 perfection for my pill refining technique. However, next, I must pass the 4th-grade alchemist assessment. Once he passes the 4th-grade alchemist assessment, Lu Yun would become an honorary executive of the Alchemist Alliance headquarters, freeing himself from the shackles of monthly pill refining task. Chapter 209. A storm is approaching. Before stepping out, Lu Yun felt he should let Chu Feng and Di Qing know about his intentions to participate in the 4th-grade alchemist assessment. After a series of inquiries, he learned from Di Ruoling and others that Chu Feng and Di Qing did not return yesterday. With that, Lu Yun set out alone. Just as he stepped outside Arichi Tavern, he heard a muffled noise coming from afar. Rumble! The ground shook, as if an earth dragon was turning over. Immediately afterwards, they saw a rapid galloping of iron hooves, trampling on the stone-paved ground, raising dust in the air. On the flat and wide ground, a large number of horses galloped, followed by numerous elite soldiers, all at least veterans in the body-tempering realm, strong-willed and possessing a strong spirit of aggression. Among these elite soldiers, there were several giant apes walking, carrying heavy crossbows on their shoulders and other large-scale weaponry, all heading towards the city gate. At the very front of the army were commanders and generals riding fierce ligers and wild lions, the creatures under them emanating powerful auras, at least 4th rank or higher. In the sky outside the city, faintly visible were huge dark shadows covering a vast area. Those are black boats, at least 1,000 of them. Seeing the dark sky, Lu Yun's eyes were filled with an astonished look. What happened to dispatch a 1000 black boats? Lu Yun thought about it, then withdrew his gaze and quickly headed towards the Alchemist Union building. Somehow, seeing the army set out and the black boats in the sky, he had a feeling that something significant happened in Ling Province, otherwise such a large-scale army would not be mobilized. Passing through the bustling streets, the massive complex of the Alchemist Union soon came into view. By now, it was no longer as lively as before outside the Alchemist Union. Lu Yun noticed that the alchemists entering and leaving the main entrance all walked quickly, looking hurried. The army has set out, has even the alchemist union sped up? With this doubt in mind, Lu Yun quickly approached the entrance. With his third-grade alchemist identity, he easily made his way into the main hall, where he looked around, pondered for a moment, then approached a relatively elegant-looking alchemy apprentice walking past, and pulled him to a stop. At first, the beautiful female alchemy apprentice was slightly annoyed when she was pulled aside, but after seeing Lu Yun's face, her beautiful eyes narrowed, and a look of excitement appeared on her pretty face. She timidly asked, "You are Lu Yun? The Lu Yun who won the championship in yesterday's alchemy conference?" And Lu Yun nodded slightly and asked in a whisper, "Do you know the location of the Spirit Martial Prefecture Division President?" "Ah, you really are Rhe alchemist Lu Yun." Upon receiving confirmation, the female alchemy apprentice's mouth opened wide, her eyes sparkling with excitement. After some time, she recovered, pointed to a quiet area with fewer people, and laughed. "All the division presidents of Ling Province and the elders of the headquarters are in that area, apparently discussing some important matters." "Haha, thank you." Lu Yun smiled faintly, expressed his thanks, and walked towards the quieter area. Before entering, he was stopped by 2 guards, but seeing the third-grade alchemist badge on Lu Yun's chest, their attitude was relatively polite. "Please inform Rhe President of the Spirit Martial Prefecture Division, Chu Feng, and Elder Di Qing that Lu Yun is here to see them." 11 Lu Yun smiled at the 2 strong-looking guards in front of him. Lu Yun. The 2 guards looked slightly surprised when they heard this name, then quickly reacted. As of yesterday, the news of Lu Yun winning the alchemy conference had already been spread, and anyone with a certain status or within the alchemist union system was aware of it. Glancing at the third-grade alchemist badge on Lu Yun's chest, and then at his young face, the 2 guards knew that he was the person in question. They immediately stepped aside and said to wait shortly. One of them went inside the building to relay the message. Lu Yun waited at the doorway quietly with his hands tucked into his star robe, eyes half closed. With the improvement of his alchemy technique, his spiritual power was also enhanced, greatly improving his 5 senses. Standing at the entrance, he could faintly hear hurried footsteps around him, and even occasionally pick out whispered conversations. Before he could listen carefully to the nearby conversations, a hurried figure approached him. A moment later, Lu Yun opened his eyes slightly and saw an elderly figure. "Lu Yun, how did you get here?" Seeing Lu Yun, Di Qing's face was filled with joy and surprise. "After a day of rest, one have recovered to my peak state and am ready to rake the assessment for a 4th-grade alchemist." Lu Yun had originally wanted to inquire about what he had seen and heard on the road earlier, but for now, it was more important to focus on the 4th-grade alchemist assessment. Once he became an honorary executive of Rhe Alchemist Alliance headquarters, someone would naturally tell him everything. Hearing Lu Yun's words, Di Qing shook his head with a bitter smile, saying, "You just refined the fire seed yesterday. I'm afraid you may nor even be able to control the spiritual fire well enough at this point, and using it to refine pills would undoubtedly be a waste of spirit herbs. Why don't you wait until you've adapted a bit more, and come back for the assessment once you can control Rhe spiritual fire at will?" "Is controlling spiritual fire difficult?" Lu Yun asked with some surprise. After he had refined the White Lotus Flame's fire seed, it had completely merged into his bloodline, and with just a thought, the spiritual fire could be easily mobilized like aura origin. However, judging from Di Qing's roan just now, it seemed that some time was needed to adapt after refining the fire seed. Of course. Only spiritual fire can be used to refine 4th-rank pills, so refining the fire seed and possessing spiritual fire are Rhe prerequisites for becoming a 4th-grade alchemist. Most alchemists refine beast-born fire seeds, which are relatively easier to refine. Even so, it takes 1 to 2 months to completely master them. As for you, who has obtained a natural fire seed, it's even more difficult to master. Considering this, it's only fair to give you 3 months to pass the 4th grade alchemist assessment. Lu Yun nodded slightly, smiling. Because of my aura origin attribute, I am relatively close to the spiritual fire, and one have already mastered it. As he spoke, Lu Yun bent his fingers, and a strand of white flame leaped out from between his fingers. Then, one strand after another, strands of white flame appeared in front of Lu Yun. Under his control, the size, shape, and power of the flames changed as he wished. Seeing Lu Yun's superb control of fire, Di Qing's smile on his face suddenly froze, and his eyes stared intently at Lu Yun. After a long time, Di Qing spoke slowly. "Are you sure you just refined the fire seed yesterday?" "I indeed got the fire seed yesterday." After saying that, the white flame in front of Lu Yun suddenly swelled, forming a white lotus seat. The surrounding space was twisted by the scorching heat, and even Rhe light was slightly shifted. Seeing this white lotus seed flame, Di Qing finally confirmed that it was undoubtedly the white lotus flame. However, the power of the white lotus flame seemed terrifying. He suddenly found that all common sense seemed illogical when applied to Lu Yun. Perhaps this was why Lu Yun was so extraordinary. After pondering for a short while, Di Qing decisively slapped Lu Yun's shoulder heavily, saying, "Come with me." They arrived in front of a building that looked like an alchemy furnace. Seeing Di Qing approaching quickly with Lu Yun, a man in a black robe came out. Judging from the silver badge he wore on his chest, he was a 5th grade alchemist. Apparently recognizing Di Qing, he came out with a light laugh, asking, "What are you doing here instead of attending the meeting?" And then he turned his eyes back to Lu Yun, looked at him for a while, and revealed a thoughtful expression. "Ao Tuo, conduct the 4th grade alchemist assessment for Lu Yun." Di Qing didn't bother with pleasantries and went straight to the point. "He just got the fire seed, right?" Although he said this, he didn't slack and immediately arranged for the attendants to register Lu Yun. With Di Qing present, and considering Lu Yun's extraordinary identity, everything was handled very quickly. After paying the registration fee of 50 spirit crystals and choosing the 4th grade pill he needed to refine, Lu Yun entered the alchemy room. In the alchemy room there was a huge alchemy furnace, which was purple in color, intricately constructed, and fully functional. Compared to this furnace, Lu Yun's own was simply like scrap metal. On the green stone platform next to the alchemy furnace, there was a purple jade mirror. After an alchemy apprentice placed 2 sets of materials for refining the 3-striped azure spirit pill and then excused himself, the stone door of the alchemy room closed slowly, leaving only Lu Yun inside. In the surveillance room outside the alchemy room, there was a large mirror that allowed real-time viewing of the scene inside the alchemy room. Looking at the mirror, Ao Tuo laughed and asked, "The Spirit Martial Prefecture Division may not have been doing well these past few years, but surely you can afford to let an alchemy conference champion try his hand at refining a few 4th grade pills." 11 At these words, Di Qing smiled faintly. "We would have liked to let Lu Yun try, but he is just too extraordinary." Chapter 210. 4th grade alchemist, honorary executive officer in the alchemy room. After making all the preparations, Lu Yun sent a stream of aura origin onto the alchemy furnace, causing the lid to fly up. At the same time, his right hand reached out, and the 5 spirit herbs on the stone platform flew horizontally and shot straight into the alchemy furnace. 4 different pills occupied the positions of the east, south, west, and north. Among them, in the east area of the alchemy furnace was the heavenly Zen spirit leaf, with 2 leaves in total. Di Qing and Ao Tuo, who were watching this scene in the surveillance room through the jade mirror, both twitched at the corners of their mouths, their faces full of confusion. "What is he doing? Did I see it wrong? Refining 4 different spirit herbs at the same time, isn't that a joke?" It should be noted that the refinement and purification process of each 4th grade spirit herb is extremely tedious. Any minor mistake will result in the failure of the entire refining process. Although they were 5th grade and 6th grade alchemists, even when refining fourth-grade pills, they would not dare to simultaneously refine 4 different types of spirit herbs. To refine higher-quality pills, they could only refine and purify 1 herb at a time. And Lu Yun had just refined the fire seed. Before passing the assessment, he couldn't even be regarded as a 4th-grade alchemist. Now, refining 4 spirit herbs at once, there is no need to think about it, it is absolutely impossible to succeed. Ahem, are you sure that Lu Yun isn't here to waste spirit herbs? Aotua said, somewhat speechless. Let's wait and see. Di Qing frowned slightly. Even though he thought Lu Yun was very abnormal and could break all conventional wisdom, doubt inevitably rose in his heart at this time. Can such an unrealistic operation really succeed in refining? Boom! Lu Yun's hand slightly bent, and strands of white flame leaped out from between his fingers, a total of 4 strands, each with different amounts of power. With a flick of his finger, the white flame shot into the alchemy furnace, enveloping each spirit herb. Following that, his palm raised slightly, and a thick white flame rushed into the sky, completely filling the alchemy furnace. However, what was dumbfounding was that in one corner of the alchemy furnace's space, a cross-shaped blank area appeared. In this area there were no flames at all, and the 4 areas separated by this cross-shaped blank area were filled with raging flames, and the spirit herbs emitted sizzling sounds. Looking at this scene, Aotua's eyes widened and he muttered, "Isn't this guy just refining a fire seed?" The proficiency of his fire-controlling level seems to be several times, or even 10 times stronger than this old man's. Di Qing, who was standing beside him, clenched his white beard tightly with his right hand, his eyes firmly fixed on the image in the mirror in front of him, remaining silent. He had never seen a single spiritual fire divided into 4 completely different flames in a small space in his life. This kind of fire was burning 4 different spirit herbs, each fire not affecting the other. This kind of operation was unprecedented. At this level, it's no longer about the level of alchemy technique. The only explanation is that Lu Yun's talent in fire attributes has reached a nearly perverted level. What followed in Lu Yun's purification process surprised both of them even more. They saw Lu Yun's hands constantly flipping, one hand controlling 4 groups of white flames at different temperatures, and the other hand controlling the powerful aura origin, flipping the refined medicine liquid, stripping away the yellow impurities that emerged, quickly turning them into nothingness in the high-temperature flames. What's going on? Looking at Lu Yun stripping away the impurities, Aotua's expression froze, and he stared at the scene in front of him with astonishment, muttering, "The feeling his spiritual fire gives me seems to surpass the scope of the first rank. It's even stronger than my current spiritual fire. He's just refined the fire seed, how is that possible?" After refining a fire seed, one would constantly nourish the fire with true origin within the body, upgrade the spiritual fire's level, and make it grow gradually and exert a greater effect. His promotion to a 4th-grade alchemist was due to the refinement of the beast-born fire seed. By now, he had nourished it to the late 2nd-rank stage. Its power was much stronger than that of the 1st-rank natural tinder, and its effectiveness in pill refining was even superior to that of the initially refined natural tinder. But from the spiritual fire that Lu Yun released now, it didn't seem to be so. Aota even felt that his spiritual fire couldn't even be considered as a younger brother in front of Lu Yun's spiritual fire. His spiritual fire is the white lotus flame. Its power is not only terrifying, but its purification effect is also extremely strong. It's not only a powerful means of attacking enemies but also has a great effect on alchemy. Di Qing tried to persuade himself like this, but when he truly saw the purified medicine liquid that was incredibly crystal clear and emitted a crystal-like luster, just like a pearl, he couldn't help but feel that his explanation was too far-fetched. It's important to note that the cleaner the residue is purified from the medicine liquid, the stronger the pill's quality will be enhanced. As long as more than 80% of the residue in each portion of the liquid is purified, as long as there are no major mistakes in the subsequent operations and no significant energy loss during fusion, there will be at least one high-quality pill in each of the batches. However, to purify more than 80% of the residue in each portion of the medicine liquid would be extremely difficult for many alchemists, not to mention the subsequent fusion and pill condensation step. In the alchemy room, Lu Yun was simultaneously controlling the white lotus flame and the aura origin, constantly purifying the medicine liquid inside the alchemy furnace. Even though he knew there were people watching his operation from outside, he had no intention of hiding any of his skills. Chapter 211. Fourth Grade Alchemist, Honorary Executive. Hiding one's martial arts abilities is a way to play the fool and deceive the enemy. However, it's different for alchemy. The more exceptional one's performance, the more attention and resources they can get. Under the stunned gaze of Di Qing and Ao Tua, Lu Yun's actions became faster and faster, and the temperature of the furnace kept changing. When it finally reached a certain limit, the last portion of the liquid was finally purified. The 8 batches of crystal clear and plump liquid were all purified to at least 90%. If it were not for refining so many at once, the liquid could have been purified even better. It's time for the fusion. Di Qing and Ao Tua immediately became focused and watched Lu Yun's next move with full attention. Lu Yun's previous actions and control over the refining flame had completely overturned their understanding, making them realize that they might witness a miracle. For a moment, they couldn't help but devote all their attention to it. They saw Lu Yun's eyes filled with lightning, controlling the fire with his right hand. The white flames in the furnace instantly merged into a white lotus-shaped blaze, emitting a beautiful flame with a terrifying temperature. At the same time, his left hand controlled the aura origin, guiding the 8 groups of purified liquid towards the center of the flames. Each group of liquid kept vibrating, gradually moving closer to each other under the protection and envelopment of the aura origin. At the moment when they were about to touch each other, the originally gentle flames in the furnace suddenly became violent, roaring and striking the furnace's inner wall like a tidal wave. Just as the balance in the furnace was about to break and the liquid fusion was about to fail, Lu Yun slapped a palm, injecting a powerful pure yang strong origin into the furnace. The previously violently white flames became tame all of a sudden, as if a mouse had encountered a cat. The constantly jumping and repelling liquids began to attract and fuse into each other, entering a strange state. How could this be? Ao Tua, who had originally thought that the furnace would explode, was surprised when he saw that Lu Yun easily resolved the situation, his eyes widening in shock. When the refining flame falls into a violent state, it means the balance in the furnace has been completely broken, and it doesn't take long before it completely collapses. In such a situation, even with his many years of experience as a 5th-grade alchemist, he wouldn't have any confidence in restoring it to its original state, let alone Lu Yun, who wasn't even a 4th-grade alchemist, yet did so effortlessly. As for Di Qing, his face was extremely calm, as if he had grown accustomed to such surprises. From the beginning of getting to know Lu Yun, he had brought one surprise after another. Too many surprises made him completely numb to them. Lu Yun didn't know that his simple operation had caused a huge shock to the 2 people outside. In his view, the previous situation seemed very complicated, but in fact, as long as the refining flame was controlled perfectly and the fused liquid was protected, the violent flames could be suppressed directly with the aura origin. Unfortunately, there were few people like him in the world who could easily suppress the raging refining flames, and even fewer who could do so while protecting the liquid. After completing the fusion and perfectly suppressing the violent energy, the next step was not too difficult. All it took was to constantly change the temperature of the flames and completely temper the energy into the pill. This operation would be somewhat complicated for an ordinary 4th-grade alchemist. But in Lu Yun's hands, It was as easy as plucking flowers from the roadside. After constant tempering, the energy in the furnace was completely integrated into the pills, and their glow and pill fragrance grew stronger. About half a cup of tea's time later, Lu Yun's palms controlling the flame suddenly retracted, and the aura origin was activated. A powerful force struck the alchemy furnace, sending the lid soaring. At the same time, a white lotus-shaped flame flew out of the furnace. In the hot and boiling white flame, a burst of green light suddenly bloomed, illuminating the entire alchemy room. At the moment when the pill was produced, Di Qing and Ao Tua only felt that the mirror in front of them was suddenly covered with green light, making it impossible to see the scene inside. After about 3 or 4 breaths, the green light seemed to be absorbed by a powerful force, disappearing abruptly. What reappeared in their view were 10 round, plump pills with a faint green glow. If one looked closely, each pill had 3 green patterns on it. Among the 7, a faint halo was emitting ripples on the central pattern of the 3 green lines, looking dazzling and mysterious. Huff, there are 7 top-quality pills. Looking at the plump and round pills floating in the air, Ao Tua's eyes were filled with shock and excitement. He immediately opened the stone door and rushed into the alchemy room. At this moment, the 10 pills landed on the jade plate on the stone table in the alchemy room, and Lu Yun had already put away the remaining spirit herbs. Since everything for this test was paid for out of his pocket, Lu Yun would naturally have to collect it all. This also applied to the pills, which he would collect without hesitation once they had been verified by others. It really is a pill pattern. Ao Tua picked up 1 pill at a time, looking at them as if they were priceless treasures, extremely cautious and careful. He couldn't believe that someone could pass the 4th grade alchemist exam the day after refining the fire seed and even increase the rate of top-quality pills production to 70%. If he hadn't witnessed it himself, he wouldn't have believed it at all. Di Qing quickly recovered from the initial shock and looked at the trembling and almost insane Ao Tua, saying softly with a smile, "Ao Tua, doesn't Lu Yun count as having passed the exam now?" He passed. Ao Tua reluctantly put down the pill in his hand, raised his head, and looked at Lu Yun with complex eyes. From the beginning, Lu Yun had continuously shocked him. The shock grew stronger and stronger, culminating with the production of 7 top-quality pills among the 10 4th-grade pills, instantly overthrowing his decades-long concept of pill refining. On the other hand, Lu Yun calmly collected the pills, as if he had just done a small, insignificant task. Di Qing nudged Ao Tua's shoulder and reminded, "Since Lu Yun passed the exam, shouldn't you fulfill your promise? I know President Qin has already arranged things for you." "Haha, what's there to worry about? Hey, race the purple metal token for the League's headquarters honor executor, as ordered by the President. If you passed the 4th grade alchemist exam within 3 months, I would personally give it to you." Ao Tua laughed, took out a purple metal token from his sleeve, and handed it to Lu Yun. "I initially thought it would take at least several months until that day. But as it turned out, the token didn't even warm up in my hands. Thank you, Elder Ao Tua." Lu Yun nodded slightly, received the purple metal token, and the white flame in his eyes gradually faded away. From now on, he'll be a 4th grade alchemist. Chapter 212. War approaching, return to Spirit Marshal Prefecture Alchemist Alliance, Elder Hall. At this moment, a group of elders and old women with gray hair or weathered faces gathered together. Any of these people, in normal times, could easily cause a sensation in a prefecture. However, at this moment, they all wore solemn expressions, appearing as if facing a formidable enemy. With demon beasts launching a full-scale invasion of Ling Province and Yen Province, Moradin's monster extermination army penetrated deep into the great wilderness, with no time to spare. Now, all the prefectures bordering Ling Province, the endless great wilderness, and the 100,000 mountains were in a state of emergency. By the decree of the Yuan Emperor, Ling Province's guardian officer Chu Zhongtian took up the post of the general of Western Border, leading the army to the front lines, with the goal of suppressing the demon beasts of the 100,000 mountains and eradicating the western wilderness. At the same time that Ling Province's guardian officer Chu Zhongtian accepted his appointment, the Ling Province Alchemist Alliance headquarters also received orders at the same time, and must do their best to support the logistical work, fully providing the necessary pills for the army. Currently, the Elders' Council of the Alchemist Alliance and the presidents of the 36 divisions were all gathered here. Qin Ming, sitting in the first seat, had a serious demeanor. His gaze swept over everyone present before slowly speaking. You are all aware of the Yuan Emperor's summoning, and our Alchemist Alliance holds great responsibility in this war. In addition to guaranteeing a sufficient supply of pills, we also need to send a corresponding number of alchemists to follow the army to ensure logistical support. Among them, we need to supply a total of 5 million bottles of various pills, including 2 million bottles of healing pills, 2 million bottles of recovery pills, and 1 million bottles of enhancement pills. Regarding alchemists, we need to dispatch 10,000 alchemists, 5,000 first-grade alchemists, 3,000 second-grade alchemists, 1,000 third-grade alchemists, 300 fourth-grade alchemists, 100 fifth-grade alchemists, and 56th-grade alchemists. Next, I will assign tasks based on the situation of each division. If you have any objections, we can discuss them after the allocation is complete. Qin Ming, president of Ling Province's Alchemist Alliance, was not only highly skilled in alchemy but also extremely powerful. Once he got serious, he resembled a decisive general. Nobody dared to refute his words in the hall. As his gaze swept over them with an overwhelming aura, the hall fell silent. As the atmosphere in the city grew increasingly oppressive, the massive black boats lingered outside the city, incessantly gathering soldiers. In the temporarily established recruitment center, martial artists of various ranks from body tempering realm to origin fluid realm were enlisting. At the entrance of the Alchemist Alliance, Di Qing, Lu Yun, and others gathered. Besides them, alchemists from the other 35 prefectures who had participated in the alchemy conference also stood there. The demon beasts deep within the 100,000 mountains have also begun to stir and are now invading Spirit Martial Prefecture and the surrounding prefectures on a large scale? After learning the current situation from Di Qing, Lu Yun's expression became increasingly serious. If I remember correctly, the Cloud Dream mountain range bordering Cloud Water County is a branch of the 100,000 mountains. If the demon beasts in the 100,000 mountains become restless, Cloud Water County is probably already affected, and even Spirit Creek Village faces a crisis of survival. That place is the one I nostalgically yearn for, and even more, it has people I care about. I cannot afford to lose. Thinking of this, Lu Yun clenched his fists, and his desire to return grew more urgent. As the afternoon approached, the meeting of the Elders' Council of the Alchemist Alliance finally ended. The presidents of the 36 divisions walked out of the Elder Flail with worried faces. Especially Chu Feng, whose face was clouded with dark sorrow for a long time without dissipating. It wasn't until he saw Di Qing and Lu Yun waiting outside the door that the shadow on his face eased a little. But compared to when he had attended the alchemy conference, the difference was still significant. Seeing Chu Feng's state, Di Qing could more or less guess what had happened and sighed softly. Chu Feng stepped forward and patted Lu Yun's shoulder, managing a forced smile. Lu Yun, the war has begun. We have to return to the Spirit Martial Prefecture Division to manage the situation. You stay here at the headquarters and focus on completing your 4th grade alchemist assessment. President Chu, Lu Yun has passed the assessment and can now return to Spirit Martial Prefecture with us. As soon as Di Qing finished speaking, Lu Yun immediately nodded and said, President Chu, we have been waiting for a long time and can set off at any moment. Hearing this, the gloom on Chu Feng's face instantly vanished, with a brief sparkle in his deep pupils. His gaze quickly swept over Lu Yun's chest, clearly seeing the silver badge with 4 pill patterns on it, indicating that he was undoubtedly a 4th-grade alchemist. Although surprised, Chu Feng was a president-level figure, and quickly composed himself, directly asking, "Can you become an honorary executive?" Lu Yun, impatient in his heart, didn't waste any words with the other party. His right hand reached out, a flash of light appeared, and a purple token appeared in his hand. This is the token that represents the headquarters honor executor of the Alchemist Alliance. Chu Feng went and grabbed, and the palm-sized purple token instantly appeared in his hand. After taking a closer look, he slowly said with a deep voice, "I have been the president of Spirit Martial Prefecture for 30 years, and I have finally witnessed someone from our prefecture obtain this token." At this point, his eyes, which had endured ups and downs and witnessed changes in the world, couldn't help but become moist. Di Qing, who was on the side, also knew the difficulty of obtaining this token. It had been nearly 300 years since the establishment of Spirit Martial Prefecture, and the Alchemist Alliance branch in the prefecture had also existed for 250 years, but no one had ever won the championship of the Alchemy Conference and become an honorary executive of the Alchemist Alliance headquarters. Lu Yun's achievement had thoroughly broken the backward situation of the alchemy level in Spirit Martial Prefecture. Keep it safe, and if there is any need in the future, feel free to find me. Returning the purple token to Lu Yun, Chu Feng's gaze swept over everyone and said, "Follow me back to Spirit Martial Prefecture." At this moment, the provincial city was still operating in an orderly manner, except for the cleared road for the army to march on. Even if the border prefectures of Ling Province were attacked by demon beasts, it did not affect this huge city of millions of people. The only impact was that some long silent martial artists, putting down their wine glasses, carrying their long knives and sharp swords, returned to the battlefield once again. War had always been the most anticipated event for those full of ambition or those who wanted to defy the heavens and change their fate. From the Alchemist Alliance headquarters to the roads outside the city, a continuous stream of martial artists flowed like a long serpent, extending endlessly and without an end in sight. These martial artists, coming from various directions like streams from a myriad of mountains, converged into a river, rushing to the various military recruitment locations outside the city. Countless powerful demon beast mounts and large-scale destructive war weapons filled one black boat after another. Even before reaching the battlefield, one could already feel the strong atmosphere of war. If it weren't for his concern for Spirit Creek Village, Lu Yun would have chosen to enlist on the spot. With his strength, he could at least obtain a commander position. Once on the battlefield, it would be an opportunity for his slaughter conception to advance rapidly. Chu Feng led Lu Yun and the others out of the city, and after finding a spacious spot, he waved his hand. A flash of green light appeared, and a huge gourd floated several feet above the ground. "Everyone, let's set off." After everyone got onto the gourd, Chu Feng waved his hands, a powerful wind howled, and the green jade gourd soared into the sky, stirring up a wave of green ripples, turning into a streak of rainbow light, and flying towards the distant horizon. Looking at the shrinking provincial city behind him, and the black boats becoming mere specks in the distance, Lu Yun's eyes showed determination as he slowly clenched his fists. "I'll be back soon, it won't be long." The green jade gourd broke through the clouds, passed through the terrifying region of wind, rain, and thunderstorms, and reached the stratosphere tens of thousands of feet above. It quickly headed towards the direction of Spirit Martial Prefecture. Chapter 213. The army approaches the city. The powerful Black Tiger Army Cloud Dream Mountain Range runs through the 100,000 mountains, its depths perennially shrouded in a thick, mysterious mist, long regarded as off-limits for human martial artists. With the accelerated territorial expansion of Morijin, these forbidden areas gradually contracted. However, the demon beasts within the range were not idle, periodically initiating beast tides, attacking human cities, and massacring human martial artists and civilians. In the Merovingian era, year 835, with endless wilderness monster disturbances, the demon beasts deep within the 100,000 mountains were unwilling to remain quiet, simultaneously harassing the counties surrounding Ling Province. Spirit Marshal Prefecture, White Cloud County, Golden Light County, and other counties, in a short few days, had witnessed the fall of over a dozen cities. Martial artists and civilians suffered innumerable deaths, with only a handful of martial artists surviving. These 6 counties had one common factor: they were all close to the 100,000 mountains. The invasions in these 6 counties were carried out by demon beasts from the depths of multiple mountain ranges, such as Cloud Dream Mountain Range, 100 Beasts Mountain Range, and the View End Mountain Range. The Demon King deep within the Cloud Dream Mountain Range was a 7th-rank demon beast known as the Shadow Fox. Rumored to have a trace of the 9-tailed Heavenly Fox bloodline, this beast was renowned for its formidable strength and cunning, managing to escape from the siege of 3 powerful Rune Seed Realm fighters. Furthermore, it commanded many 5th and 6th-rank demon beasts, causing much havoc in Spirit Marshal Prefecture for a long time. The Demon King of the 100 Beasts Mountain Range was also a 7th-rank demon beast, the Rugged Bull. This bull possessed mountain-moving strength, with its pillars-like legs causing havoc every time it descended upon a city. In one of its fits of rage, it had consumed hundreds of thousands of humans. The invaders in Spirit Marshal Prefecture were the demon beasts from deep within the Cloud Dream Mountain Range. This invasion was not like past minor harassments but a solid full-scale attack. Within just a few days, several counties had fallen, with millions of people becoming fodder for the beast. Spirit Marshal Prefecture had been established for 300 years, and it was not until recently that it had managed to build up a population of over 50 million. Nevertheless, the full-scale invasion by the Cloud Dream Mountain Range demons claimed the lives of millions of people within days, undoubtedly a colossal loss for Spirit Marshal Prefecture. Add to that the beast's method of attacking in waves. If this situation doesn't change, the losses will continue to grow. Within Cloud Water County, an intense battlefield unfolded, with Lu Liangpeng slaughtering with bloodshot eyes. In his eyes, this was indeed a massive battlefield. After years of honing, he had transformed from an inexperienced recruit to a battle-hardened veteran who had survived several major and minor battles. Lu Liangpeng, with his 2-star innate talent, had taken less than 3 years to open his first meridian, becoming a Meridian Passage Realm martial artist and a skilled soldier on the battlefield. The effort and sweat he had put into it were known to none. But now, facing a group of powerful demon beasts, he felt incredibly powerless. He slays the beast in front of him with all his might, but his gaze inadvertently swept across the battlefield, miles away. Amidst the rising dust and strong demon energy, there was a giant beast wreaking havoc. Each of its attacks seemed capable of collapsing mountains. Upon witnessing this, Lu Liangpeng felt a sense of despair. His innate talent limited him to reach the true Qi realm in this lifetime at most, and that too was under favorable circumstances. However, the giant beast, despite being besieged by several transforming Origin Realm Masters, seemed to be having an easy time. This realization only intensified Lu Liangpeng's feeling of powerlessness. Roar! Not far off, a 2nd-rank demon beast came charging. Beasts below the 6th rank were generally much stronger than martial artists of the same rank. Although Lu Liangpeng had broken through to the early stage of the Meridian Passage realm, he stood no chance against a 2nd-rank demon beast. After a brief fight, he quickly retreated. He had experienced this situation numerous times before, and that's how he managed to survive every attack. A green light flickered in the sky, and the green jade gourd gradually enlarged, appearing over the city of the Spirit Marshal Prefecture. Accompanied by a booming sound, Lu Yun, who had been sitting cross-legged, abruptly opened his eyes, radiating an intimidating brilliance. "Have we arrived?" Seeing the vast city beneath him, Lu Yun muttered softly. As the green jade gourd gradually descended onto the vast square of the Alchemist Alliance's Spirit Martial Prefecture, he bid goodbye to Chu Feng and others, leaped down, and quickly disappeared from everyone's sight. "Grandfather, it's too dangerous for Lu Yun to return to Cloudwater County alone." Watching Lu Yun's departing figure, Di Ruling's eyes reflected a trace of worry. Di Qing revealed a helpless look inside. It was his choice. Besides, with his transforming origin realm strength, he should be able to fend off even a fourth-rank demon beast. After putting away the green jade gourd, Chu Feng laughed and said, "Little girl, don't worry. All the reinforcements have arrived now, and the war is temporarily at a deadlock. Lu Yun will be fine." "Really?" "Of course. Otherwise, why would one let him go?" After bidding goodbye to Chu Feng and others, Lu Yun, that very day, rode on a black wind demon horse, leaving the county capital to head towards Cloudwater County. Cloudwater County, being closer to the county capital and on the outskirts of the Cloud Dream Mountain Range, only suffered attacks from stray small groups of demon beasts. Coupled with the buffer of the surrounding smaller counties, it did not immediately plunge into war. That day, Lu Yun arrived at Cloudwater County. The city was in a state of panic and the streets were quiet, showing signs of an impending storm. "The demon beasts haven't arrived yet?" Regardless, upon seeing that Cloudwater County was unharmed, Lu Yun finally breathed a sigh of relief. He spurred his horse, and the black wind demon horse galloped out of the city. Outside Cloudwater County, there was a vast open area with tents set up. One could see numerous soldiers patrolling back and forth. This was the main camp of the Black Tiger Army. Ling Province was a newly developed territory, close to the boundless Great Wilderness and the 100,000 mountains, so every city and region had a large army stationed. Now with the night falling, torches were rising within the camp, their fiery glow and the oppressive atmosphere dispelling the darkness that was about to arrive. In the center of the military tent, a brawny man who seemed rugged sat on the top position. Below him, 4 others were seated. 3 of them, clad in black armor, were commanders of the Black Tiger Army. These were Sunda, Wang Juanhao, and Lu Zhong. The 4th person was dressed as a civil officer. This was Lord Jiang, the county magistrate of Cloudwater County. Although his cultivation was only at the peak of the true Qi realm and he wasn't as strong as the 3, his status was not their inferior. Although the main force of the demon beasts from the Cloud Dream Mountain Range is mainly attacking the Eastfield giant city, they've diverged into multiple units, rushing toward all directions like a beast tide. This has led to the counties along the border falling one after another, and they'll soon reach Cloudwater County. The relatively young and mild-mannered Wang Juanhao, who looked gentle despite his armor, began analyzing. Under this great pressure, whilst seeking reinforcements, we should also join forces with the martial artists in the city to ward off the enemy together. Otherwise, our 5,000 Black Tiger Army cannot handle the ferocious beast tide. After he spoke, Sunda also offered his own insight. According to the scout reports from the front, nearly 8,000 demon beasts are heading toward the territory of Cloudwater County. The demon beast leading them has reached a terrifying 5th rank, which was the very one that had broken through View Plan County. Within these demon beasts, there are even 4 at the 4th rank level. If we cannot intercept them outside the city, then unfortunately the millions of people in Green Cloud County will likely fall prey to these demon beasts. After saying this, Sunda's face appeared to be filled with concern. Currently, the Black Tiger Army stationed outside the city was only made up of 5,000 men, comprised primarily of soldiers at the Origin Fluid Realm, and 3 at the Transforming Origin Realm, while the demon beasts amounted to 8,000. Whether in terms of sheer numbers or top-level power, the Black Tiger Army could not compete with the demon beast. At these words, Lu Zhong at the side abruptly slammed his palm on the table, his face brimming with indignation. "Wu Zhong Xinming is hateful. Over 7,000 of the Black Tiger Army were sacrificed in the belly of the demon beast. If it wasn't for him, How could we be facing such pressure? The Wuzhong Xinming he was referring to was the former commander of the Black Tiger Army in Viewplan County. 2 days ago he died under the hooves of a 5th-rank demon beast. His whole army of 7,000 black tigers was obliterated whilst buying time for the local residents to evacuate. All this while, Lord Jiang remained silent. Feeling the increasingly oppressive atmosphere inside the tent, the brawny men in black heavy armor atop the main seat finally spoke up. Eastfield Giant City is the gate to Spirit Marshal Prefecture. If it's breached, the demonic beast army undoubtedly will invade unhindered. Therefore, at this moment, Spirit Marshal Prefecture's defensive core is Eastfield Giant City. It is unlikely for Cloudwater County to get any support. Seeing the gloomy expressions of his 3 commanders, he continued, however, one have already sent a message to the Flying Spirit Marshal Academy for reinforcements. A heavenly pride will soon be coming to our aid, and this way, we would have reinforcement in terms of top-level combatants. Immediately after, he turned to look at Lord Jiang, his tone more amiable. As for the basic power, Lord Jiang, you and the common folk of Cloudwater County handle this matter. Mobilize the families and martial artists in the city to defend against and resist the demon beasts together. Unlike Wang Juanhao and others, Lord Jiang was the head of a county and held quite a high position, so he felt the need to exercise some courtesy. Upon hearing this, Lord Jiang agreed, Commander Wang can rest easy. Even before this, I have been coordinating and rallying forces, and I've organized close to 1,000 martial artists to assist the Black Tiger Army in resisting the beast tide. Good, very good. Commander Wang Yingwu of the Black Tiger Army said in a deep voice. All of us, the soldiers and civilians, united as one, surely will block this wave of demon beasts outside the city wall. Report. Just then a squad leader burst into the tent, saluting him. Commander, a scout from the front lines reports that the demonic beast horde has already reached 30 li away. Are they here so quickly? Wang Yingwu pondered for a while, then immediately motioned with his hand. Reconnoiter again. Yes. The squad leader left to carry out his orders. Wang Yingwu stood up. He wore heavy armor, a black sword was hanging on his waist, a black spear was in his hand, and he walked out of the tent. His gaze was focused and in a stern voice he said, Wang Juanhao, Lu Zhong, Sunda. I am present. The demonic beast horde will soon arrive. I command the 3 of you to lead your Black Tiger armies. Prepare for battle. Yes. Wang Juanhao, Lu Zhong, Sunda immediately took their leave. Moments later, 5,000 men wearing black helmets, donning black armor, and wielding black long knives, spears, and shields convened. In this cold night, a pair of icy eyes shone from the helmets, just like hungry black tigers ready to hunt, making people shiver. Worthy of being the Black Tiger Army under Commander Wang Yinghu, such terrifying momentum. Upon seeing this, Lord Jiang couldn't help but sigh. The Black Tiger Army before his eyes, the weakest were in the intermediate stage of the body-tempering realm. Combined with their fierce momentum, they likely parallel the late-stage body-tempering realm martial artists. But if they were to form a military formation, then 10 Black Tiger soldiers could counter a martial artist of the Meridian Passage realm. If all 5,000 Black Tiger soldiers attacked simultaneously, even a peak origin fluid realm cultivator could get killed in an instant without careful attention. The oppressive impact of a concentrated force of 5,000 Black Tiger soldiers was just too terrifying. As the county magistrate of Cloudwater County, he had a deep understanding of the strength of the Black Tiger Army. Over the years, Cloudwater County had avoided attacks from demon beasts, and the Black Tiger Army played a key role in it. Just as Wang Yingwu was preparing to appoint his soldiers and delegating tasks, a guard came to report. Commander Wang, there is someone asking to see you outside. They say they are a disciple from the Flying Spirit Martial Academy. Has the support from Flying Spirit Martial Academy arrived so quickly? Wang Yingwu was surprised. because according to his estimates, even if the Flying Spirit Martial Academy had seen his letter for help and dispatched their disciples right away, they would still need several hours to reach them. Though he was puzzled, he did not delay, and immediately led everyone out to meet them. Chapter 2:14. Battle array begins. Tiger kill. Nightfall. With the sparse moonlight and stars, the outskirts of the city seemed unusually calm, yet the howling wind was exceptionally urgent. Lu Yun stood quietly outside the camp, fiddling with the token in his hand. This was a token of a disciple from the Star Palace. Besides serving as proof of identity, it also had communication capabilities. As long as one was within Spirit Martial Prefecture, communication could be made. Before he even reached Cloudwater County, he had received a message from the Martial Academy. Mission content: assist Cloudwater County in resisting the attack of the demon beasts. Mission level: top black rank. Mission completion reward: 10,000 contribution points. Learning from a guard that Cloudwater County had not yet been attacked by the demon beasts, he let go of his worries and willingly accepted this black rank mission. Just then, the sound of hurried footsteps gradually sounded in his ears. Lu Yan's eyes raised slightly to look into the camp. 4 generals clad in black heavy armor and a middle-aged man dressed as a civil official appeared in his line of sight. His gaze swept over the 5 people, immediately recognizing one of them as Jiang Hongji, whom he had briefly met before. However, Jiang seemed not to recognize him. While Lu Yun was observing them, Wang Yinghu and the others were also sizing him up. Initially, seeing only a young man outside the camp, Wang Yinghu was somewhat disappointed. But as his gaze swept over, he felt a faint aura emanating from the young man and was immensely shocked. Lu Yun had mastered the martial arts conception. His true strength was far beyond simple appearances. Composing himself, Wang Yinghu greeted with a fist salute. "I am Wang Yinghu, the commander of the Black Tiger Army. May first ask if the gentleman is the heavenly pride of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy?" "I dare not claim to be heavenly pride." 1 A.M. Lu Yun, a disciple of the Star Palace from the Flying Spirit Martial Academy. "One have come here to lend my support upon receiving instructions from the Academy." Upon hearing his words, the others present were immediately taken aback. The name Lu Yun was already well known throughout Spirit Martial Prefecture, and the Black Tiger Army was no exception. "One have heard of the name Lu Yun before, and upon meeting you today, one can see that your reputation is indeed well earned." Noting the other party's attitude, Lu Yun knew that his previous actions had already had an impact. Having already withdrawn his aura, he returned the salute humbly. "Commander Wang is being courteous. Haha, one invite Heavenly Pride Lu to join me in discussing strategies for dealing with the enemy." After entering the army camp, Wang Yinghu immediately introduced Lu Yun to his subordinates, Wang Juanhao, Lu Zhong, and Sunda. After some conversation, Lu Yun had gained a rough understanding of the situation with the demon beasts and their own forces. In summary, the threat of the demon beasts was formidable and Cloudwater County was in grave danger. Just then, a powerful roar echoed in the darkness outside the city, and a thunderous rumbling could faintly be heard from the ground, as if a herd of beasts were stampeding. "Commander," a front scout reports, "the demon beasts are only 10 miles away." Upon hearing this, the faces of all present changed. The speed of the demon beasts was incredibly fast. Wang Ying's brow furrowed, and with a deep voice he said, "Wang Juanhao, lead 1,000 Black Tiger soldiers to station at the left wing, forming the Black Tiger killing formation. Lu Zhong, lead 1,000 Black Tiger soldiers, forming the Ferocious Tiger battle formation." After giving orders, he added, "Once one give the order, you will gather all your forces and launch an attack. Then your 2 Black Tiger armies will attack from the left and right, in a 2 dragons emerge from water formation and join with the central army." "At your command." Wang Juanhao and Lu Zhong saluted and then each led 1,000 Black Tiger soldiers away. As Lu Yun watched the two of them leave, his eyes held a complex expression. Seeing this, Wang Yinghu turned to Lu Yun. "Young brother Lu, do you have any opinions about my tactics?" Lu Yun shook his head. "I am not versed in military matters. Commander Wang, with your vast battle experience, one believe your battle arrangements to be very calculated." His words were indeed humble. When he realized the slaughter conception, his consciousness had inhabited a general. Their views on battle formations were somewhat similar. According to Wang Ying's previous arrangements, the Black Tiger Killing Array and the Ferocious Tiger Battle Array were all meant to condense the entire army's power to forcefully unleash a terrifying blow. Such an array, if used too much, would greatly exhaust the Black Tiger army. A single, powerful blow, however, wouldn't consume too much but could use the momentum of the attack to weaken some of the demon beast's vitality, relieving the pressure of the subsequent battles. As for the two dragons emerge from water formation, it referred to splitting the army into two paths, mimicking two dragons attacking the enemy force. The alternating and separating battle techniques left the enemy unable to defend effectively, allowing them to break the enemy's formation to the greatest extent. Against the unorganized demon beasts, the biggest function of this array was to divide the battlefield. Meanwhile, the central army consisting of 3,000 Black Tiger soldiers, and the left and right flanks emerging from the Black Tiger army would undoubtedly catch the demon beasts off guard. Indeed, despite his sturdy appearance, Wang Yinghu was fine-tuned in his tactics. Not long after, the county warden of Cloud Water County, leading more than 2,000 men, arrived to reinforce them. Cloud Water County Warden Fang Shui greets Commander Wang. In front of the army, Fang Shui greeted with a fist salute. Upon receiving Jiang Hongji's orders, he had immediately led all the county soldiers and the organized martial artists from the city to resist the demon beast. When compared to the Black Tiger army, these county soldiers and martial artists seemed extremely disorganized. If they were to face off against the same number of demon beasts, they would most assuredly face defeat and death. Wang Yinghu nodded slightly and said solemnly, "Commander Fang, lead 500 county soldiers to guard the city. Absolutely do not allow any demon beast to enter the city." "Yes, sir." Immediately, Fang Shui led his 500 county soldiers back into the city to defend it. Wang Yinghu looked at the people who were left and introduced Lu Yun, pointing at him. "This young man is our Spirit Martial Prefecture's pride and joy, Lu Yun. I'm sure you have all heard of him. Let me tell you, his strength is far greater than any regular transforming Origin Realm martial artist. From now on, all of you will follow his command." Having said this, everyone looked at the always calm Lu Yun in astonishment. Lu Yun's name held a lot of weight amongst the martial artists, their rumors about him were widespread. Therefore, there wasn't a single martial artist who would disobey Wang Ying's command. Observing the crowd's reaction, Wang Yinghu smiled and said, "Once the Black Tiger army has divided the battlefield, Brother Lu Yun will lead people into the battle." Lu Yun clasped his fists. "I will follow Commander Wang's orders." 10 miles away. During the night, countless pairs of scarlet eyes, like lanterns, were approaching quickly. Rumbling sounds echoed across the vast fields. Under the faint starlight, this appeared to be a densely packed army of demon beasts. The demon beasts were all extremely excited and agitated after feasting on thousands of Black Tiger army soldiers and consuming human flesh in View Plan County, further enhancing their power. As they approached, the overwhelming demon energy arrived, soon enveloping the already faint moonlight. Charging at the front of the demon beast army was a wind-flow silver-winged wolf with wings. As it ran, it left deep marks in the ground, and the residual demon energy lingered in the air for a long time, forming a strong wind. It flapped its wings violently and immediately took off into the air, radiant with silver light. Roar! Seeing the surging demon beast army behind it, the wind-flow silver-winged wolf's eyes were filled with savagery. Humans have a saying, "Full steam ahead at the first beat of the drum," the second beat results in decline, and the third beat in exhaustion. There are only 5,000 Black Tiger Army soldiers ahead. They don't warrant us to stop. As soon as we deal with these 5,000 Black Tiger Army soldiers, we can enter the city and indulge ourselves with millions of delicious meals. 4 countless meals, and for breaking through our limitations to reach even greater power, charge. Upon hearing this, all the demon beasts received a great stimulus, and they released a roar that was grand enough to shake the earth. Roar! Growl! Under this circumstance, the blood vigor accumulated within the bodies of the demon beasts began to boil. The terrifying demon energy, like black clouds, enveloped them. Right then, the speed at which the beasts were moving increased. They were charging towards Cloudwater County. When the demon beasts were 5 miles away, Wang Yinghu drew his long sword and held it high. Rise, Blood Tiger Slaughter Formation! The 3,000 Black Tiger Army soldiers behind him immediately raised their weapons and gathered their vigor. Horror and intensity gathered around Wang Yinghu. This vigor is so formidable, worthy of the battle array formed by 3,000 Black Tiger Army soldiers. Lu Yun thought. As the demon beasts drew closer to the 3-mile mark, an image of a giant blood-red tiger began to surface above the heads of the 3,000 Black Tiger Army soldiers. At the same time, a black giant tiger and a white fierce tiger appeared on the left and right flanks respectively, forming out of soldiers' vigor. When the demon beasts reached 1 mile away, the 3 giant tigers, formed out of the soldiers' vigor of the Black Tiger Army, suddenly opened their eyes. Their terrible killing intent caused the surrounding temperature to drop sharply. When the demon beasts reached the 150 m mark, "Tigers, kill!" Commander Wang hollered fiercely, swinging his sword down heavily. "Blood Tiger, kill! Black Tiger, kill! Fierce Tiger, kill!" All 5,000 Black Tiger Army soldiers shouted. The 3 giant tigers, formed out of vigor, were as if they had awakened completely. They opened their sharp claws and fangs, let out a roar that resonated through the earth and sky, and immediately dispelled the encroaching demon energy. Then, under the astonished gazes of everyone, the 3 giant tigers roared and rushed out, transforming into a red, a black, and a white streak of light, charging into the charging demon beast army. Like a gust of wind sweeping away the clouds, the demon beasts below the 4th rank couldn't resist at all. They were torn apart by the giant tiger's vigor. Chapter 215. The White Lotus Blooms, the 10 Directions Fire Domain, asking for votes and more readers. Among the 5,000 Black Tiger Army soldiers, the majority are only in the Body Tempering Realm and Meridian Passage Realm, individually having little combat strength. However, each soldier has experienced more than a dozen battles, being bathed countless times in blood, and emanating a powerful aura. This aura allows them to fear no battle, nor fear death, undefeated and invincible in attacking. After forming a battle array, the power of this aura becomes undefeatable. Under such circumstances, even 4th-rank demon beasts would be instantly killed upon being attacked. How could the other demon beasts possibly resist? Boom! Like autumn wind sweeping fallen leaves, a swath of demon beasts falls, either with broken limbs, severed bodies, or entirely pulverized to pieces. Witnessing the gruesome deaths of these demon beasts, Lu Yun's expression is impossible to read. His right hand slowly tightens around the hilt of his blade. His fighting spirit is gradually aroused. Everyone, attack! With a flash of his spear, Wang Yinghu strikes like lightning, and behind him, the 3,000 Black Tiger Army soldiers charge, directly aiming for the enemy's core. Attack! At the same time, the 2,000 elite soldiers of the Black Tiger Army on the left and right wings moved out. Like 2 dragons emerging from water, they split the battlefield. The battle unfolds quickly as opponents lock eyes, completely erupting into a fierce clash. The demon beasts' attacks are fierce, and their physical strength is terrifying. But the Black Tiger Army's formation is neat, and they wear heavy armor on their bodies, not allowing them to be much weaker. Moreover, with the element of surprise and deployment of their battle array, they have achieved great result. Consequently, no matter how outnumbered they do not fall at a disadvantage. Boom! The ground shakes. A giant beast several dozen feet tall appears from the darkness. A great strength demon ape stomps its feet, causing the ground to shake violently. Its huge arms come crashing down, instantly crushing the heavily armored black tiger soldiers into dust. A mammoth giant elephant swings its gigantic trunk like a pillar, sending the surrounding black tiger soldiers flying away with its powerful force. A netherworld white tiger opens its mouth wide and sucks in forcefully, creating a powerful vortex that swallows several unresponsive black tiger soldiers into its belly. Plus a red flame demon beast, its body flickering with red flames, advances, setting the sky ablaze wherever it goes. Besides that, a shadow leopard, blending seamlessly into the darkness, prowls, its presence going unnoticed by the common man. Even its aura is imperceptible. By the time people realize it's there, they have already been pierced through the heart by its sharp claws. Seeing these colossal demon beasts appear, the martial artist's expressions change drastically. In the battlefield, without forming a battle array, a single fourth-rank demon beast is capable of inflicting a terrifying scale of destruction. Now, with the sudden appearance of 5 fourth-rank demon beasts, it is an all-out bloodbath. And there's still a 5th-rank demon beast, the Windflow silver-winged wolf, battling fiercely with Black Tiger Army's commander, Wang Yinghu. Seeing the already divided battlefield and the emerging 4th-rank demon beasts, Lu Yun knows it's time for them to make their move. My friends, the battlefield has been divided. Bring forth your power and follow me to slay the demons. Plus, barely finishing his sentence, lightning manifests, and his long blade arcs out like a crescent moon. Several demon beasts hadn't even managed to react before being halved, their twitching, howling bodies littering the ground, not yet completely dead. Clearing 1,000 peaks. His long blade sweeps out horizontally like a crescent moon, releasing an immense killing intent. The closely gathered, panicked demon beasts let out a howl and are flung away, with blood illuminating the dark sky. At the same time, other demon beasts swarm towards them. Facing the numerous demon beasts, Lu Yun's expression is calm, but his eyes reveal a fleeting crimson light. Pure Yang's strong origin. The powerful and vigorous aura suddenly erupts, sending the assaulting demon beasts flying away. Following this, an endless sea of blade intent and killing intent filled with the atmosphere of slaughter sweeps across, like the scythe of the Grim Reaper, effortlessly reaping these 1st and 2nd-rank demon beasts. As expected of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy Heavenly Pride, such strength truly terrifying. Seeing the unstoppable Lu Yun, the martial artists are shocked, their fighting spirits ignited. Attack! County soldiers and martial artists charge out like a tidal wave, instantly clashing with the demon beast. These martial artists have not experienced the strict discipline of a military force. They do not coordinate well with the other warriors and cannot defeat the stronger demon beast. However, as individuals, their skills are varied, their combat is more flexible, and they are efficient at taking down weaker demon beasts. It can be said that the inclusion of martial artists has relieved the Black Tiger Army's pressure temporarily. However, on the demon beast side, there are 5 4th-rank demon beasts, while the Black Tiger Army only has Wang Juanhao, Lu Zhong, and Sunda. Even if they all strike simultaneously, they would only be able to intercept 3 of the 4th-rank demon beasts. The Great Strength Demon Ape and the Shadow Leopard rampage unstoppable across the battlefield, quickly breaking the Black Tiger Army's formation and dissipating their previous advantage. With the two sides having a similar number of warriors, the determining factor in victory is top-level combat prowess. Naturally, Lu Yun understands this point. After dealing with the surrounding demon beasts, he advances steadily, heading towards the colossal Great Strength Demon Ape. Apprehending the ringleader is one thing, but enhancing his slaughter conception is another. After raising the slaughter conception to the first rank at 80%, slaying these first and second rank demon beasts had become almost negligible. Therefore, he sets his sights on the more powerful demon beast. A shadow leopard is extremely fast and, combined with the size of the battlefield, it is difficult to catch up to it. The most suitable target at the moment is the ferocious, mighty, great strength demon ape. Upon noticing Lu Yun approaching, the great strength demon ape's eyes flash with a ruthless gleam. It tears a black tiger soldier in its hand to shreds and immediately slams its feet down, propelling its massive body forward like a mountain. Chapter 216. The White Lotus blooms, the 10 Directions Fire Domain, asking for votes and more readers. _2 Seeing this, Lu Yun's mouth curved slightly. Immediately after, he soared into the air, and a powerful storm with lightning burst at his feet, repelling the besieging demon beasts and causing them to fly backward. Next, his figure flashed, turning into a bolt of lightning. After several blinks, he rushed towards the great strength demon ape. At the same time, the massive body of the opponent also came towards him. The two rushed towards each other, rapidly closing the distance between them. Along the way, the great strength demon ape flung the black tiger army away like crushing ant. Lu Yun brandished his long knife, and with each slash, he took the lives of several demon beasts. One was a 4th-rank demon beast, and the other was a transforming Origin Realm martial artist. Anything trying to stop the two from fighting was swept away. When the distance between them finally closed, the white-scale purple-gold knife slashed fiercely, and the sharp blade light burst out, silently shattering the air and seeming to cut through the darkness. The great strength demon ape clapped its hands together, and the terrifying blade light was forcibly caught by it. Roar! With a furious roar, a powerful force converged on its arms, and the blade light shattered with a loud crash. However, a blood-red blade light instantly invaded it. The sound of the air being torn, and the sudden alert in its heart made it look up involuntarily, just in time to see the blood-red blade light filling its view. Roar! The great strength demon ape didn't think twice and punched heavily towards the falling blade light. The air violently exploded, as if being completely blown up by this terrifying fist. The blood-red blade light and the punch full of violent power collided in mid-air in an instant. Crack! The sound of steel being cut echoed. In the eyes of the other black tiger army and demon beasts, they saw the thick fist of the great strength demon ape being cut directly. The blood-red blade light in the dark night quickly extended, and the pupils of the surrounding black tiger army and demon beasts were all filled with the blood-red light, as if time had fallen into a brief stagnation. A moment later, all the blood-red light converged at once, condensing on a long knife. Even the remaining light in the darkness was absorbed in an instant. Then, the vision sank completely into darkness. Roar! A wail erupted suddenly. When the faint light reappeared, the head of the great strength demon ape had been blown off, and its headless massive body stood on the spot, with its strong arms in an attacking posture. However, not long after, a gentle breeze blew, and it collapsed with a loud thud. A 4th-rank demon beast was killed with one slash. Is Lu Yun's strength so strong? The surrounding black tiger army showed shocked faces, and their eyes were filled with an incredulous look. As for those demon beasts, their hearts were filled with an intense fear. Seeing Lu Yun, their massive bodies couldn't help but tremble violently. Demon beasts might be fierce, but it doesn't mean they don't have brains or fear death. When they encounter powerful demon beasts or invincible martial artists, they would also feel desperation. Now Lu Yun, who had killed the powerful great strength demon ape with a single slash, was an insurmountable existence in their eyes. Facing such a powerful Lu Yun, the demon beasts were afraid, but the other black tiger army found an opportunity. Kill! Under Lu Yun's deterrent, the nearby demon beasts were quickly defeated. Behind him, the corpse fell heavily, but Lu Yun never looked back. He stood holding the knife, and the ground beneath his feet gradually became soaked with crimson blood. After killing the great strength demon ape, he didn't bother with the low-level demon beasts around him. His eyes swept over the battlefield, searching for the elusive shadow leopard. It didn't take long for his eyes to narrow, focusing on a spot 150 m away. "Found you!" Lu Yun grinned, revealing a slight smile. From the size perspective, the shadow leopard was also a 4th-rank demon beast, much smaller than the great strength demon ape. However, the strength of a demon beast does not depend on its size. Just by size, the Windflow silver-winged wolf that was fiercely battling Wang Yinghu was smaller than these 4th-rank demon beasts, but it was a more powerful 5th-rank demon beast, capable of refinement, possessing strong bone, and even speaking human language. From this, it can be seen that the strength of demon beasts is not entirely determined by their size. The shadow leopard, about 2 meters tall, had a streamlined body, and its fur was like black satin. When it ran, its body seemed like a phantom, making it impossible to discern its position. Especially in this dark night, it had become a terrifying hunter. Walking in the darkness, it was silent and deadly, and every time it bared its fangs, a soldier of the Black Tiger Army lost his life. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Without any words or hesitation, Lu Yun approached the opponent quickly. He had a feeling in his heart that as long as he killed this shadow leopard, his progress in slaughter conception would be significantly improved. After killing the early 4th-rank great strength demon ape earlier, his slaughter conception had improved by 1 level, and the shadow leopard was at least in the mid-4th rank. Feeling an intense killing intent approaching, a cold glint flickered in the ferocious eyes of the shadow leopard. As it turned its head, it saw a purple thunderbolt rapidly advancing. It carefully watched the white-clothed youth within the thunderbolt. As a terrifying hunter in the dark night, it could sense that the threat from this white-clothed youth was far greater than that from the other humans on the battlefield. This human cannot be defeated. The killing intent in the shadow leopard's dark eyes suddenly disappeared, and at the same time, its body shot out like a bolt, turning into a shadow and completely melding with the darkness. Chapter 217. The White Lotus Blooms, the 10 Directions Fire Domain, asking for votes and more readers. 3. The speed was too fast, and coupled with the excellent cover of darkness, Lu Yun lost track of the shadow leopard before he could catch up. Damn sneaky demon beast! Seeing the beast flee without a fight, Lu Yun was immediately frustrated. So far, he had never encountered such a cunning and life-loving demon beast. It could be said that all demon beasts were cunning. After sensing the powerful aura emanating from Lu Yun, they all chose to avoid conflict. These beasts were not like the energy-evolved beasts in the Flying Spirit Martial Academy's Myriad Phenomena Tower. No matter how powerful Lu Yun was, they would recklessly attack him without fear of death. Huh! While Lu Yun was complaining about how sneaky the shadow leopard was, his face suddenly changed, sweat broke out all over his body, and his heart contracted sharply. It dares to ambush me again. As soon as this thought flashed through his mind, Lu Yun had no time for other defensive moves, and could only swing the long saber in his hand toward his side. Although this saber strike did not have time to activate the aura origin, its powerful force, combined with the sharpness of the superior true artifact, was unstoppable for an ordinary 4th-rank demon beast. However, this time the attacker was the shadow leopard, the king of hunters in the dark. Each time it attacked with its claws, it meant certain death for its target. The shadow leopard's sharp claws hit Lu Yun's saber, and its body, like a shadow, violently grabbed at Lu Yun's right shoulder, unleashing a terrifying force that shattered his protective aura origin. Boom! As the protective aura origin shattered, Lu Yun's figure swiftly flew out. As a master of saber technique, Lu Yun activated his aura origin and force while recoiling, sending out a burst of saber light to slash at the shadow in the night. This saber strike was extremely powerful, and the shadow leopard didn't dare to resist it. Abandoning its continuous attack, it turned into a shadow once again, merging with the darkness. But having been tricked once before, how could Lu Yun be deceived again? While striking with his saber, his eyes never left the Shadow 7 leopard. Thinking of running away with a cheap advantage? It's not that simple. As he landed, Lu Yun sneered and reactivated his protective aura origin. Riding the wind and chasing the lightning. The moment Lu Yun moved, he transformed into a bolt of lightning, instantly disappearing from his original position. Die! Lu Yun's long saber erupted with a surge of saber light, slashing at a shadow in the darkness. In the face of life and death, the Shadow 7 leopard's agile body, as if it was a flash of lightning, dodged as if its life depended on it, evading this powerful strike and then rapidly accelerating. Changing direction again and again, accelerating again and again. The Shadow leopard was in utter panic. It originally wanted to continue using its speed and illusion advantage to ambush Lu Yun, but it didn't expect that the latter would not only react quickly but also have amazing speed. Now, it's focused solely on evading and trying to escape. At the same time, it regrets not escaping right away from Lu Yun's line of sight. The first layer of Wind Thunder Manual is still a bit slow. Lu Yun felt that his speed was insufficient. Although it was already comparable RO martial artists at the entry level of the Origin Fluid Realm, there was still a gap compared to this Shadow Leopard. If it weren't for the fact that RHE Shadow Leopard needed to take time to dodge his attacks, it would have already escaped from his line of sight. From the current situation, this was still not the Shadow Leopard's maximum speed. Boom! The air itself seemed to distort as the Shadow Leopard's speed suddenly increased again, almost turning into a shadow. Thinking of escaping now? It's already too late. Lu Yun's eyes turned bloodshot, and a faint red airflow 7 appeared around his body, engulfing the surroundings. Apparently, at this moment, Lu Yun had completely unleashed his slaughter conception. The killing intent surged out, and the Shadow Leopard in the darkness seemed to be subjected to some kind of suppression, slowing down its speed. Power and aura origin were both stimulated to their limits. Boom! The tip of the saber burst with saber light, tearing apart the air as the blood-red saber light cut through the curtain of night, slashing at the Shadow Leopard. The Shadow Leopard was greatly alarmed. Lu Yun's sudden burst of power took it completely by surprise, and the force of this saber strike made both its body and soul tremble. Under normal circumstances, it could dodge the strike with its speed. However, an invisible force enveloped it, making it unable to unleash more than 80% of its original speed. Roar! It let out a ferocious roar while desperately trying to escape. Hearing the roar of the Shadow Leopard, the surrounding demon beasts abandoned their targets one after another and came to support it. Lu Yun just smiled dismissively at this. Those demon beasts were immediately hit by a strong impact as soon as they came into contact with the crimson killing intent, trembling all over. The long saber, like a wriggling giant serpent, carried the blood-red light and slashed towards the Shadow Leopard. The Shadow Leopard sharply dodged, barely evading this terrifying strike, but its speed was still a little too slow. Whoosh! The saber mixed with the sharp light grazed the Shadow Leopard's gray and brown back. A wound appeared, and dark magical power flowed from it, healing the wound rapidly while blood flowed from it. Feeling RHE intense pain in its back, the Shadow Leopard's dark eyes flickered with ferocity and madness as it stared at Lu Yun. Roar! Knowing that it could not continue to escape and that it could not defeat this human with its strength, it began to call for even more demon beasts. Roar! 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 Chapter 2:18 The White Lotus Blooms, the 10 Directions Fire Domain, asking for votes and more readers. _4 roars of beasts resounded in the air, and soon, demon beasts densely packed the surroundings. As his gaze swept across the demon beasts, a look of surprise appeared on Lu Yun's face. He had always thought that humans used numbers to bully others, but he didn't expect the demon beasts to have the same realization. However, this still won't change your doomed fate. With white flames flickering in his eyes, Lu Yun appeared exceptionally demonic, while gazing at the slightly triumphant Shadow Leopard. Swish, swish, swish. As more and more demon beasts gathered, the shadow leopard's confidence grew, and the killing intent gradually became apparent in its dark eyes. Not good. A black tiger army martial artist's expression changed instantly upon seeing Lu Yun surrounded by hundreds of demon beasts, including the shadow leopard. On the battlefield, the demon beasts dominated in both numbers and strength. Almost every black tiger army martial artist struggled to kill the demon beasts, but they were ultimately no match for them. Lu Yun's pressure was greatly relieved after he killed a fourth-rank demon beast, causing a subtle shift in the battlefield situation. However, now that Lu Yun was deeply surrounded by the demon beasts, if an accident were to happen, there would be no suspense left in this battle. Thinking about this, the faces of every black tiger army soldier and martial artist turned ugly, as they were considering strategies to provide support. However, the demon beasts still had the upper hand in numbers on the battlefield, and no one could spare the effort to intervene. As for the top combatants, be it Wang Juanhao, Sun De, or Lu Zhong, they could barely fight on par with fourth-rank demon beasts, and supporting others was out of the question. As for the commander of the Black Tiger Army, Wang Yinghu, although he could match the Windflow Silver-Winged Wolf in combat, that was all he could do. If he were to neglect this fifth-rank demon beast, the battle situation would easily become one-sided. Lu Yun, one believe your strength is far greater than what it seems on the surface. Looking back at their first meeting outside the military camp, Wang Yingwu recalled the hardly noticeable yet dangerous air he detected from Lu Yun. He was still apprehensive about it and deduced that even hundreds of demon beasts attacking together would not pose much of a threat to Lu Yun. In the midst of his thoughts, the Windflow Silver-Winged Wolf fluttered its wings, sending out 2 streaks of silver light that tore through the sky. In the dark night, the 2 streaks resembled silver wolves leaping and howling, causing one to shudder in fear. Kill! Wang Yingwu let out an angry roar, and as his black spear danced, True Origin condensed into 2 small spearheads, each of which released a lethal burst of energy. Boom, boom, boom. The flickering spear light and piercing silver light eventually faded in the darkness. Seeing that hundreds of demon beasts were approaching in haste, the shadow leopard's killing intent toward Lu Yun reached its peak. It suddenly leaped off the boulder and swiftly approached Lu Yun under the cover of darkness. The instant the shadow leopard launched its attack, the surrounding 100 demon beasts howled in unison and charged fiercely toward Lu Yun. White flames flickered in Lu Yun's demonic-looking pupils, and deep within his body, a fire seed trembled. The flame flowing through his bloodstream and meridians quickly condensed and circulated through his meridians, soon accumulating in his left hand. A wisp of white flame quickly appeared in his palm. In a mere moment, the wisps of white flame transformed into a white lotus-shaped platform, its fire flickering violently. The originally cold and still air around it was set ablaze, and the faint moonlight was swallowed completely. White lotus flame bloom. As the white lotus appeared, Lu Yun pressed it on the ground with the back of his hand. In that instant, the white flame fully bloomed, sweeping in all directions. Soon, a white lotus-shaped fire domain formed within a radius of 10 zhang. Blazing flames burned intensely, scorching heat evaporated everything, and a white glow swallowed it all. Roar! Growl! One after another, the wails echoed and dispelled the layers of darkness. The shadow leopard, which was illuminated clearly by the white flame, had nowhere to hide. Chapter 219. Continuous Killing, Second-Rank Slaughter. Conception. Lu Yun stood at the center of the white lotus seat, the flames in his eyes burning even more intensely. Around him, the crimson current surged, his long sword slashing away, leaving Shadow Leopard without a chance to dodge, only to resist. Splat! The sharp claws and long sword collided, breaking with a snap. Die! Lu Yun advanced aggressively, his long sword cutting horizontally with a power that seemed to shatter heaven and earth. Shock filled the eyes of the Shadow Leopard, realizing that if it took another hit from that sword, it would be either dead or severely injured. The shadow leopard, who had hastily resisted moments ago and lost a foot in the process, couldn't begin to imagine the outcome of another serious injury, so it burst forth with a last-ditch effort at lightning speed. But now Lu Yun's slaughter conception had exploded in full force, reducing the shadow leopard's speed and strength to 80%. Under these circumstances, how could it escape the range of Lu Yun's attack? His pure yang strong origin burst forth, filling his sword with its ultimate power, its aura blazing like blood, like the scorching sun. The body of the shadow leopard almost completely merged with the night. One could barely see a shadow. It had thrown everything it had into a life and death struggle. But it was all in vain. The outcome was decreed the moment it failed to escape right away and instead decided to kill Lu Yun. Boom! The sword aura swept across, cutting the black night apart, hitting the hidden shadow. The speed of the long sword surged dramatically, broke through the void with ultimate force, creating the roar of a dragon. Squelch! The blade of the sword, diffusing sword aura, sliced through the astonished shadow leopard's neck in an instant. The white flames were burning unceasingly, completely evaporating the surrounding air, swallowing the surrounding light, and causing a series of ceaseless screams and howls. The power of the white lotus flame, which had already been elevated to the third rank, completely surpassed Lu Yun's expectation. Even the third-rank demon beasts couldn't resist its terrifying power, which swept across a radius of 10 meters. However, it also consumed a lot of Lu Yun's strength. Just one attack like this used up about 10% of his pure yang strong origin. He had used less than 10% of his strong origin when killing both the fourth-rank great strength demon ape and the shadow leopard earlier. The headless shadow leopard, its neck spraying ceaseless blood, stared at Lu Yun with its dreary eyes, struggled for a few moments with its strong losing life force, then finally lost its traces of life. The price for ambushing me is your death, my survival. Lu Yun looked at the headless body of the shadow leopard, shook his head slightly, grabbed his long sword, and walked out of the burning flames. These flames, to others and demon beasts, were devil's fire, which would burn fiercely on anyone they touched. But when it touched Lu Yun, it was like a merry sprite leaping joyfully. As Lu Yun walked out of the raging flames unharmed, the eyes of all the Black Tiger Army soldiers were on him. The moment Lu Yun stepped out, the white flames gradually died out. The scorched bodies of the beasts and the headless shadow leopard abruptly came into everyone's view. The king of night hunting, Shadow Leopard, is dead? Hundreds of demon beasts also died? Seeing this, everyone's face was horrified, as if they had seen something terrible. A moment ago, they thought Lu Yun, who was surrounded by enemies, was sure to die. But the final outcome was hard for them to believe. Spiritual fire. The power of this spiritual fire far surpasses the second rank. Wang Yingwu, who was in a fierce battle with the Windflow silver-winged wolf, managed to spit out these words under great difficulty. His shock was even greater than that of the dumbfounded Black Tiger Army soldiers. Second-rank spiritual fire could only be controlled by martial artists at the origin fluid realm level. He couldn't imagine that a more powerful spiritual fire would appear in a young man in the transforming origin realm. Also, launching an attack on this broad range, with power strong enough to instantly kill hundreds of demon beasts, was a cultivation technique beyond his comprehension. What's more, the huge energy loss caused by a cultivation technique like this would be terrifying. Even him, a battle-hardened commander of the Black Tiger Army, would have lost at least 30% of his true origin if he had launched such a wide-area attack. That's why, when faced with a horde of demon beasts, he usually chose to dodge, then strike back one by one. Such brutal aggression as Lu Yun's was a first for him. However, considering the rumors about Lu Yun and his abnormal strength, it all seemed expected. At this moment, Lu Yun, who had just killed hundreds of demon beasts and 2 fourth-rank demon beasts consecutively, felt a violent tremor from the crimson lotus seat in his sea of consciousness space, as it wildly absorbed the surrounding gray mist, as if something was brewing. He took a step forward. In an instant, the crimson current swept open, and countless sand and dust rose from the flat ground. Then, both the Black Tiger Army soldiers and the demon beasts, fighting fiercely around him, seemed to see something terrifying. Their bodies trembled violently, and they involuntarily backed away. Kill! Thunderbolts flickered under Lu Yun's feet, and his white-scale purple-gold knife broke through the air. Sword aura and endless killing intent swept around. Wherever the sword's light passed, blood swept across, and cries of pain filled the air. It was like a tornado sweeping across, and the demon beasts in the radius of several tens of meters fell one after another. This was an absolute slaughter. When the killing intent faded, the shocked, heavily injured Black Tiger Army soldiers finally came back to their senses. Wang Ying, who shook his long spear, fended off the attack from Windflow's silver-winged wolf and shouted loudly, "All Black Tiger Army, slay the beasts together." Now, he had completely cast away the despair from just moments ago. The power that Lu Yun had exploded with had surpassed the category of the advanced transforming origin realm, and it even surpassed the average origin fluid realm. Chapter 220. Continuous killing, second-rank slaughter conception _2 on this battlefield. The strength of any origin fluid realm cultivator or fifth-rank demon beast was enough to turn the tide of battle. Such was the terror of top combatants, as if seeing the hope for victory, the glow of the black spear in Wang Ying's hand became even stronger, containing infinite power. The morale of a commander and the army's leader often determined the morale of the soldiers. With Wang Ying fighting so vigorously, the other Black Tiger Army soldiers were also infected, becoming more and more ferocious in killing their enemies. At this time, seeing the change in the situation, the Windflow silver-winged wolf was somewhat caught off guard. His side had an absolute advantage, and should have easily crushed the Black Tiger Army. However, due to the appearance of a single human, the situation began to subtly shift, which caught it by surprise. Seeing the increasingly brave opponents and the Black Tiger Army's humans regaining their fighting spirit, the Windflow silver-winged wolf exhaled and gave orders. "Don't panic. The human army is already exhausted. Just one more push and we'll break them all. Victory is within reach." The words of the Windflow silver-winged wolf made the demon beasts even more fierce. At this moment, Lu Yun, like a terrifying beast, charged through the demon beasts, leaving a trail of blood wherever he went. His long knife, like a dragon's roar, collided and reaped one soul after another. Wherever the blood light enveloped, there were corpses everywhere. It was only a moment's work. Lu Yun had already reached the red flame demon beast. From the beginning, he had noticed its presence. Such a fire-breathing demon beast should have a fire seed in its body. If he swallowed it, would the spiritual fire within him be enhanced? With this thought, Lu Yun targeted the red flame demon beast. Not good. Seeing the blood-stained knife and the killing intent of the approaching Lu Yun, the red flame demon beast immediately felt uneasy. The great strength demon ape and shadow leopard had been defeated by him, and it knew it well, so it dared not to confront Lu Yun head-on and wanted to retreat immediately. "Damn beast, stop!" Feeling Lu Yun's rapid approach, Sunda seemed to have injected chicken blood, ignoring his injuries, and tried his best to stop him. Killing intent boiling. The terrifying momentum was approaching rapidly, making the red flame demon beast's intention to retreat even stronger. A huge flame was ejected, temporarily trapping Sunda, while its body, full of turbulent flames, moved quickly to another location. However, a thunderous light swooped, and when it reached the first-rank perfection, the entire slaughter conception burst forth, making the red flame demon beast fearful as if a small mountain was pressing on its heart. This sudden scene made it both alarmed and furious. Seeing the blood-red knife light falling from the sky, trying to escape was no longer possible, so it could only fight with all its might. Roar! With a furious roar, the red flame demon beast's body swelled rapidly, its flaming red fur stood on end, like burning flames. Just as the knife light was about to fall, its huge mouth opened wide, like a volcanic eruption, and a giant fireball gushed out. Swish! The white scale purple gold knife fell, shattering the scorching hot fireball instantly, and the remaining force of the knife light continued to fall from the sky. The red flame demon beast spewed out another pillar of fire to barely block the knife light, but the figure disappeared from its eyes. Whoosh whoosh! Thunderbolt light flashed, Lu Yun's figure suddenly appeared to the right of the red flame demon beast. The knife fell, the speed reached its peak, and the power was maximized. The demon energy surrounding the red flame demon beast instantly shattered, and the knife blade fiercely crossed the red-haired fur, penetrated the flesh, and cut into the huge body of the red flame demon beast. Successful in one move, Lu Yun drew his knife back. His gaze once again fell on the red flame demon beast. At this moment, a faint trace of blood appeared on its neck, then quickly expanded, and its body and head separated. The huge corpse fell to the ground. The red flame demon beast was slain like this? Looking at the huge corpse not far from him, Sunda could no longer describe his state of mind with words. He knew that Lu Yun was very strong enough to slaughter third-rank demon beasts as if slaughtering dogs, and even at the fourth rank, they would not last long under his knife. But with such a swift and lightning-fast move, he had slain a near fourth-rank ladder-stage demon beast. This terrifying explosive power and combat power were far beyond his expectations. Even Commander Wang may not be his opponent. Somehow, such an idea suddenly appeared in Sun Da's mind. Captain Sun, leave this place to me, go help the others. Lu Yun spoke, and Sunda almost subconsciously nodded. Glancing at Lu Zhong, who was fighting fiercely with the netherworld white tiger in the distance, Sunda rushed to support. As for Lu Yun, after glancing at the surrounding demon beasts, he flew into the air and slashed horizontally. There was a streak of light in the air, like suddenly blooming snowflakes, which quickly turned into a streak of knife light that enveloped the surrounding demon beast. In an instant, the demon beasts within the range of the knife light seemed to have been cut by some force, exploding, and blood was splattered everywhere. With this blow, almost a dozen demon beasts were slain. Seeing that there were no more demon beasts around, Lu Yun walked to the corpse of the red flame demon beast, and with a flick of his long knife, its abdomen was cut open. The beast-born fire seed was like the companion of the demon beasts, usually hidden within their core. Chapter 221. Continuous Killing, Second-Rank Slaughter Conception. The long knife slashed through its abdomen, opening up its entrails, aiming for its core. Soon, red and white were everywhere, and a fiery red crystal appeared before them. Feeling the violent energy on it, Lu Yun's eyebrow slightly raised. It's more appropriate to call this a beast core rather than a fire seed, right? Tossing it into his sumi bag, Lu Yun re-entered the battlefield. By now, the battle situation had reversed, but it was not yet decisive. He couldn't afford to delay any further. Moreover, through successive killings, his slaughter conception was rapidly improving. The battlefield was fertile ground for the rapid growth of slaughter conception. Looking at the ferocious and cruel demon beasts in the distance, a blood-red chi flow emerged around Lu Yun again. Today, one will raise my slaughter conception to the second rank. He had comprehended the slaughter conception at the limit of the Meridian Passage realm. Now, he had already reached the middle stage of the transforming origin realm, but his slaughter conception was still hovering at the first rank, which was utterly slow. The nature of slaughter conception meant that aside from using energy to increase it, it could only be improved through massive slaughters. However, ordinary killings couldn't arouse Lu Yun's killing intent, let alone enhance his slaughter conception. Now, with the demon beasts invading Ling Province, it was an opportunity to thoroughly hone his slaughter conception. Thunder flashed, Lu Yun's state of mind became increasingly calm, but his eyes were filled with crimson, and his killing intent kept rising, as if it could pierce the night. At this moment the ground shook. The roars of numerous beasts were heard clearly, and the battle cries of the Black Tiger army echoed. This wilderness not far from Cloudwater County had completely transformed into a realm of slaughter. Ahead, two terrifying auras collided like torrents, violently crashing into each other. In an instant, the mammoth giant elephant stomped on the mountains and rivers, shaking the heavens and the earth with its bellow. Wang Juanhao was sent flying backward by the tremendous force, blood gushing from his mouth and nose. Among the 5 fourth-rank demon beasts, the mammoth giant elephant was the most formidable, having reached the peak of the 4th stage. After devouring many humans, it had advanced even further, barely approaching the peak of the 4th stage. Although Wang Juanhao was powerful, he was still far inferior to the mammoth giant elephant. Rip, the thick elephant trunk swung once again, and Wang Juanhao, who was flying in the air, had no way to dodge it and could only hurriedly lift his knife to block. Boom! The tremendous force fell upon him, his body sent flying like a ball, and his heavy armor shattered. Roar! The mammoth giant elephant charged, the ground shaking violently. Its thick trunk sent all the Black Tiger army soldiers who tried to intercept flying away as it charged towards Wang Juanhao. Boom boom! With each step it took, the ground quaked violently, as if stepping on Wang Junhao's heart, making him feel death drawing near. Watching the mammoth giant elephant approaching like a small mountain, Wang Juanhao struggled hard, but his already injured body couldn't muster any strength. Is Wang Juanhao going to fall here today? Thinking of this, his eyes were filled with unwillingness and the desire to live, but the huge foot still descended, about to crush him to pieces. Boom boom! At this moment, a thunderbolt flashed and Wang Juanhao felt a strong wind. Then, his body was violently moved aside without his control. At the same time, a rumbling sound came from all directions, shaking the area and blowing up dust. Wang Juanhao, who had just landed, was once again sent flying by the powerful force. It hurts. Wang Junhao's heart immediately rose with such a thought, but compared to being crushed to pieces, what did this pain matter? Roar! Watching the attacker from ahead, the mammoth giant elephant roared furiously, with demon energy filling its huge trunk as it swung out. Boom boom! The air exploded and shock waves swept in all directions. The surrounding demon beasts and Black Tiger army soldiers were hit by the powerful shock waves, retreating or sent flying away. As the commander of the Black Tiger army, Wang Junhao's heavily injured body was once again flung backward by the powerful shock waves, his shattered black armor stained with crimson blood. He swore this was the most embarrassing moment since becoming a transforming origin martial artist. At the same time, Lu Yun landed not far from the mammoth giant elephant. Not bad, your strength is quite impressive. Gazing at the massive beast, he felt the fighting spirit surging within. That slash had just been a hasty attempt at assistance, not carrying much power, but it still hadn't caused much damage to the beast, showing its true strength. Roar! Feeling the faint pain coming from its trunk, the mammoth giant elephant roared furiously, its eyes crimson. Having exchanged blows earlier. Chapter 222. Continuous Killing, Second Rank Slaughter Conception Carrot. Clang! Lu Yun's figure flickered, appearing under the body of the mammoth giant elephant, slashing powerfully with his sword, pouring the blade's radiance into its abdomen. Scratch! A several-foot-long trace sprang up on its abdomen, blood gushing profusely. The pain caused the mammoth giant elephant to roar in rage again and again, furiously stomping its feet, its wild strength completely unleashed, causing the earth to tremble, raising dust and debris. Without saying a word, Lu Yun fully deployed his wind thunder manual. His astonishing speed resembled a bolt of lightning streaking across the darkness, appearing almost instantly behind the mammoth giant elephant. This swift strike landed on its tail before the mammoth giant elephant could regain its composure. Its terrifying defense could withstand an instant attack from a atartial artist at the peak of the transforming origin realm, but under this one strike, there was a spurt, and the thick flesh cracked open, splattering with fresh blood. The mammoth giant elephant, having taken consecutive heavy blows, completely lost control. The black demon energy on its body exploded, raising layer upon layer of dust on the ground, from which unexpectedly rose huge pillars of earth. As a demon beast that is extremely close to the peak of the fourth rank, its demonic energy was incredibly formidable, and its vitality was shockingly tenacious. Even after sustaining 2 heavy blows, it was still in its peak state. Thick-skinned beast. Lu Yun muttered to himself, riding the thunder. His figure vanished again. Then a cold streak was approaching straight ahead. Having suffered successive heavy blows, the mammoth giant elephant was enraged to the extreme. Sensing the impending attack, it swung its massive trunk. This trunk swing was tremendously powerful, and the black demon energy filled the air. If it hit, even a demon beast of the same fourth rank would be injured. For martial artists under the origin fluid realm, they would at the least be heavily injured, if not killed. But the astonishing sword had already arrived before the elephant's trunk could get close. The feeling of cool freshness covered its body as the sword grazed its head. Immediately after, it felt a darkness descend on its right sight, followed by an intense pain attacking its brain. That's right, although the last hit did not sever its head, it left a long scar on its tough skull, not even sparing its large left eye. Such incredible speed, such terrifying power! Wang Juanhao, gravely injured, was astoundingly shocked. When he was battling the mammoth giant elephant, he couldn't even get close. Even if he just managed to get close, he could not break through its defense. After one battle, no damage was inflicted on the mammoth giant elephant, whereas he himself found it challenging even to remain standing. Had not Lu Yun arrived just in time, he would have already been ground into meat paste under the elephant's feet. This terrifying demon beast, before Lu Yun, could only be at the receiving end, unable to retaliate. Moreover, its incredibly formidable defense, under Lu Yun's sword, seemed to have turned to tofu, easily penetrable. Roar. Having suffered severe injuries and now lost an eye, the mammoth giant elephant plunged into deep fear and went on a total rampage. The demon energy inside its body exploded without limits, causing it to rampage violently. It, devoid of all sensibilities, whether it was a demon beast or the black tiger army, was indiscriminately knocked flying or trampled into meat paste. Lu Yun, who had already appeared in front of the mammoth giant elephant, took a deep breath. Along the scar on its skull, the blade penetrated its head, causing brain matter to spray out. The terrifying blade radiance thoroughly shattered its vitality. What? He managed to kill the mammoth giant elephant, a creature close to the peak of fourth rank, so quickly? Several hundred yards away, Wang Yinghu, who was in fierce battle with the fifth-rank demon beast, was utterly astonished. Demons beasts like the mammoth giant elephant, whose defense and vitality were incredibly potent, were even more terrifying than giant apes of the same rank. Even if the mammoth giant elephant, which was extremely close to the peak of the fourth rank, were attacked by him personally, he dared not assure that he could kill it. Now, however, it had genuinely fallen under Lu Yun's blade. This left him both astounded and thrilled. The fifth-rank demon beast was completely blocked by him, and the fourth-rank demon beasts were each being killed. Only a netherworld white tiger was barely holding on. Now, the tide of battle had completely turned, and the demon beasts were on the verge of defeat. Knowing this, the speed of his lance thrusts quickened. After the mammoth giant elephant's body thunderously crashed down, a message that suddenly appeared on the screen before Lu Yun caught his attention. Slaughter Conception has advanced to the second rank at 1%. Chapter 223. The angry Lu Yun Slaughter Conception upgraded to second rank 1%. As this message appeared on the panel, Lu Yun felt a drastic change occurring within his sea of consciousness. In the center of his sea of consciousness space, the blood-red lotus seat rooted there had a petal that was blood-red to the extreme, as if blood was flowing through it. Amidst its mad sway, a surge of gray fog rushed in and was crazily absorbed and devoured. Gradually, the blood-red lotus seat began to tremble, and in the area adjacent to the first petal, a flower bud appeared abruptly. It began to stretch and bloom after continuously absorbing the fog within the sea of consciousness space. During the blooming process, it was as if a torrential slaughter atmosphere was rushing forth, as well as the sound of clanging metal and charging horses, followed by myriad beasts running and fighting each other. The ensuing slaughter and scene were enough to make anyone shudder involuntarily. The blood-red lotus seat represents the slaughter conception. Each petal represents a rank of slaughter conception. Now that my slaughter conception has advanced to the second rank, the blood-red lotus seat is blooming a second petal. It seems that my previous guess was correct. Lu Yun withdrew his mind from the sea of consciousness space, as there was no time for him to study further since the battle was still not over. After consolidating his mind, Lu Yun clearly felt that the slaughter aura lingering on the battlefield became even denser. Destruction and foreboding lingered in his mind, constantly stimulating and impacting his thoughts. Broken land surrounded him, with countless scattered corpses and flowing blood that soaked the area in red. Not far away, several Black Tiger Army soldiers were sent flying. Immediately after, a true Qi realm Black Tiger Army captain was brutally torn in half by a monstrous-looking demon beast, drenched in blood. After devouring numerous human martial artists' bodies and surviving multiple fights, this demon beast had finally broken through its bottleneck and became a fourth-rank demon beast. Roar! The light blue-skinned demon beast, with two short horns on its head, appeared exceptionally terrifying and ferocious as it couldn't control its demon energy proficiently since the breakthrough was recent. It grabbed the torn-in-half Black Tiger Army captain, putting him in its mouth, grinding its teeth ruthlessly, making the scene extremely bloody. Seeing this, the Black Tiger Army soldiers nearby showed no fear and charged in unison. Clang, clang, clang. One after another, their attacks landed on the demon beast, but they didn't even manage to leave a single scratch on its body. With its claws swinging, Black Tiger Army soldiers in black armor were sent flying. The demon beast quickly lunged at one of them, its sharp claws easily tearing through the thick black armor as if it were tofu. Splash! Blood splattered as the Black Tiger Army soldier was ripped to shreds. This scene was witnessed by Lu Yun as he charged over. Another demon beast is breaking through right before my eyes. A hint of crimson flashed through Lu Yun's eyes, and he quickly charged towards the fourth-rank demon beast without hesitation. Clank! Just as the demon beast with light blue skin and two short horns reacted to his presence, a gust of wind and a long knife with terrifying speed and power struck down. Plop! When the long knife connected with the fourth-rank demon beast, a bloody red airflow spread across the blade. Upon contact, the hardened skin was cut through as easily as cutting tofu, and the demon beast was sliced in half. As expected, after upgrading the slaughter conception to the second rank, the boost to my strength has increased once more. It was easy for Lu Yun to slay a fourth-rank demon monster before, but killing it with a single strike was somewhat difficult. Lu Yun cast a glance at the corpse beneath him and continued to kill other demonic beasts. With the addition of Lu Yun, the demonic beast's defeat became even more intense. One by one, as he killed one demonic beast after another, Lu Yun always kept an eye on the progression of his slaughter conception. Slaughter conception upgraded to second rank 3%. The slaughter conception upgraded to second rank 4%. The slaughter conception upgraded to second rank 5%. As the number of demonic beasts on the battlefield diminished, the upgrade of the slaughter conception slowed down. After killing nearly 600 demonic beasts, my slaughter conception has only advanced by 3 stages. The efficiency is somewhat low. Previously, Killing a recently promoted 4th rank demon beast had increased his slaughter conception by 2 stages in one go. With this comparison, it was definitely not cost-effective to kill low-level demon beasts. Lu Yun's gaze fell on the distant netherworld white tiger. Right now, the netherworld white tiger was being jointly besieged by Lu Zhong and Sunda, but only a few light scratches were visible on its massive frame, and its demon energy surged like a storm. "It's you!" Traceless. In an instant, Lu Yun had crossed several hundred zhang in the blink of an eye, as the wind and lightning flashed around him. Before Lu Zhong, Sunda, and the netherworld white tiger could react, Lu Yun had already covered himself in a crimson airflow. The white-scale purple-gold knife's blade rapidly extended with a blood-red color, and with a swift strike, he struck down the netherworld white tiger. As the attack was about to land, the black demon energy barrier shattered. The blade cut into the heart of the late 4th rank netherworld white tiger, and the endless knife aura released instantly, crushing all its life force. Slaughter conception upgraded to 2nd rank 8%. Almost at the same time, Sunda and Lu Zhong finally reacted. When they saw Lu Yun, who was standing beside the netherworld white tiger's corpse, their bodies trembled slightly. At this moment, the killing intent surrounding Lu Yun had become increasingly dense. Great oppression and chilling terror could be sensed from afar. Chapter 224. The angry Lu Yun _2 How many demon beasts must have been killed in order to accumulate such a killing intent to this extent? Captain Lu, Captain Sun, the rest of the demon beasts are handed over to you. Lu Yun bowed and darted away, disappearing in an instant. Watching Lu Yun's swift departure, Lu Zhong shook off his shock and sighed. As expected of a true heavenly pride, Lu Yun alone is worth thousands of Black Tiger Army soldiers. Sunda shook his head slightly. With such combat power, if not for the battle array's aid, the thousands of Black Tiger Army would have been crushed. Hearing this, Lu Zhong had no objection and just nodded. They all understood that the reversal of this battle was largely due to Lu Yun alone. Almost all of the 4th rank demon beasts were killed by Lu Yun's blade. About 1/10 of the low-level demon beasts were also slain by him. Now that Lu Yun is going to help our commander besiege the 5th rank demon beast, the remaining battlefield is left to us. Let's go. Without the 4th rank demon beasts, martial artists of the transforming origin realm had become the strongest force on the battlefield. Also, due to Lu Yun's rampage, the Black Tiger Army now outnumbered the demon beasts, and the battle trend became one-sided. Boom! Darkness filled the sky, and at the center of the battlefield, a pitch-black light suddenly expanded, engulfing the surrounding hundreds of feet. Within this range, everything was destroyed. Its power was terrifying, and neither demon beasts nor the Black Tiger Army dared to approach. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh! Lu Yun's figure rushed to the scene, just in time to see a figure flying out of the dark light, blood oozing from the corner of his mouth, his spear dimmer than before. It was the Black Tiger Army's commander, Wang Yinghu. The dark light faded away, and an extremely ferocious silver wolf appeared, its silver wings fluttering, and its shining silver fur stained with drops of blood. No one knew whether the blood belonged to the wolf itself or to Wang Yinghu. "Haha, worthy of a 5th rank demon beast, you're quite powerful. Let's do this again." Wang Yinghu wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and gripped his spear tightly. The battle array around him flared up with an intense brightness once more. Besides its silver wings, the wind-flow silver-winged wolf had fine scales on its body and thick silver armor covering its head, resembling an impenetrable helmet. Its slit-like eyes glowed crimson, giving off a ferocious aura, and its claws were incredibly sharp, seemingly able to effortlessly cut through the still night air. "I must admit, you did well to fight me for so long." The wind-flow silver-winged wolf licked its lips, and a strange voice emerged from its throat. As a forefront under the 7-tailed fox king in the Cloud Dream Mountain range, it was practically unchallenged apart from the 6th rank demon beasts and some top-tier 5th rank ones. After entering the Spirit Martial Prefecture, the wolf had torn apart and eaten an Origin Fluid Realm Black Tiger Army commander, making it even stronger. Now it was confident that it could kill the human martial artist in front of it. Once it devoured him, its power would advance again. As for the lives and deaths of the other low-level demonic beasts, it didn't really care. But today you won't be able to escape death. With its words, the wind-flow silver-winged wolf raised its claws, and a pitch-black demon energy gathered. Boom! With a swipe of its claws, dark light swallowed everything in front of it. Wang Yinghu couldn't afford to be careless, and the spear in his hand spun, creating layers of spear shadows. Thud, thud, thud! As Wang Yinghu shattered the black claws, the wind-flow silver-winged wolf's wings vibrated, turning into a silver light, tearing through the sky, and reappearing in another direction, attacking once more. Wang Yinghu had already found a subtle pattern to the wolf's attacks, but its speed was too fast, and its defense was incredibly formidable. For a moment, he was unable to do anything to it. However, now, a glint of light flashed in his eyes as he dashed below the wolf's abdomen. His body shot forward, and the spear in his hand swirled like a large, slithering snake. The wind-flow silver-winged wolf pounced at an incredible speed and force, unable to dodge the rotating spear aiming for its abdomen. At that moment, the wolf's body seemed to twist and bend like it had no bones, its claws gathering demon energy to strike at Wang Ying's fearsome spear, desperately avoiding a fatal blow. Boom! A powerful force struck the spear, the tip grazing the wolf's slightly softer abdomen and leaving a trail of blood. At the same time, the wind-flow silver-winged wolf's other claw struck Wang Ying's body. Crash! The incredibly sturdy armor was instantly torn open, and the spear's protective true origin shattered. The sharp claws slashed across his body, leaving a terrible wound on his right shoulder. With its wings fluttering, the wind-flow silver-winged wolf hovered in midair, a 3-foot-long wound on its abdomen dripping with crimson blood. Its scarlet eyes were filled with madness and murderous intent as it stared at Wang Yinghu. "Too bad, you almost got me." Wang Ying's gaze held firm on the wind-flow silver-winged wolf, as if the terrifying wound on his shoulder had no effect on him at all. "But since you injured me, you'll have to pay the price." The wind-flow silver-winged wolf's wings vibrated, and circle after circle of black demon energy emerged from its body, forming strands of black light.